the pull steps and then catches Ghosty jumping out of Tiki. I mean, some players are just built for these moments. All those nights you play those S&D chows, those tournaments, it all comes down to this. It will pay off if you keep working hard, and it's paying off for Aluka. It's so impressive to see.
Ali, final thoughts here. I know we had a clip, but there was too many words in it that we can't air on television. So we're not going to play the clip, but I was really inspired by Joe DeCeves. Going into the game 4, he gave his team a bit of a speech, trying to get them fired up. He's trying to step up into that leadership role. Paris is going to leave here frustrated, but you have to think top 4 ain't bad, and you're going into your hometown for Paris at EWC. It's
not bad at all. And I think, if anything, there was a huge stride in Search and Destroy for the side of Gentleman's this weekend, and also a whole lot of tape to watch before EWC. So a big top 4 for them, obviously. It's heartbreaking right now, but can't wait to see what they come up with in a few weeks.
Shout out to Joe Day and Matt Rife, our replay ops. They got the censorships in, and we got the clip. Do you guys want to see it, Vegas? Me too. Roll that footage.
But just give everyone a second to understand what we're saying. Okay? If don't like, just like, bro, again, if we're gonna do something, make sure everyone's on the same page. Do it. Get our micros down. Who's clearing what? Who's doing what? And then we're good. That's it. That's it. That's our S&D. That is our S&D.
Simple stuff.
Aww.
Joe, calm, not fiery. Going to be frustrated, but Ali, you almost cried. Go ahead.
I did almost cry. There's tears in my eyes. No, I mean, that's just passion, right? I'm sure all players throughout the entirety of the weekend had somebody that was trying to do that when they were heading into these game 5s and these moments. It's just, I mean, you have to tip on the side of Riyadh Falcons the composure after moments like when Estriel almost clutched up 4, when Joe does get that insane 3-piece, right? They were able to kind of calm the storm and come back. So composure on the other side of the stage, it's been a hell of a Saturday.
For Gentlemates, it's just a balancing act, right? Sid was having such a good tournament, but he is prone to the over-challenge. And obviously, like, you got to take the good with the bad, but him flying out water steps, something they're going to have to revisit and maybe hone in, maybe in the final couple of rounds when you're in a game 5, reel that back a bit and just rely on good tactics, because really, he stays alive there. Aluka's not allowed to make that play, but those are the types of things that happen at CHAMPS. You got to be ready for it. Riyadh now with a chance to get to a final.
Vegas, thank you for hanging with us. I've seen a lot of yawns, but don't worry. We have Unlimited Monster, and we have another match coming for you tonight. Do you guys want to see what it is? Here's a look at your bracket one more time. OpTic made the run for the winner's bracket, but ran into FaZe in game 5. And now we see the final battle. Who is going home tonight on Saturday? Is it OpTic Texas, or is it Riyadh?
Oh, man, you want me to give you a prediction now? You're going to have to see it on the other side of this break.
Official controller of the CDL.
Player X is the official esports fantasy partner of the Call of Duty League.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
Brought to you by America's Navy and the special operators who work in the shadows.
Let's find out who's built for the big save. Heretics ready to dive in.
Thanks to Four and Snoopy.
Once more. But Hydra with the switch impossible. He's making top room. So damn happy. It's Sykes. Down a bruiser. trying to avoid another silver medal.
This is my time to go.
We wait, we push, we win.
Back-to-back champs.
Oh my God! Out of nowhere! Unbelievable!
Back-to-back shield.
It's history in the making! It's over! Are the champions of the world! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah. Listen. They got me cornered, I'm feeling trapped. Where can I go when I'm feeling like that? To the left or to the right, man. I need some luck like a dice game. 7-Eleven, but 24/7. There's plenty more coming and plenty with weapons. Got my head on the swivel wherever I'm stepping. Stay low and be civil for better protection. Cause there are consequences and repercussions. When you violating and be disruptive, they'll annihilate you and leave you nothing. Now I'm waist deep in these discussions. I'm waist deep, gotta get out. I'm waist deep, gotta get out. What I get myself in now? I'm waist deep, gotta get out. Man, I gotta keep moving. It's up to me, I gotta do it. Man, I gotta keep moving. It's up to me, I gotta do it. I thought I was making progress. Thought it was all part of the process. I was wrong, baby, that's nonsense. Now I'm waist deep in my conscience. I know I got some enemies, so I don't know who to trust. Gotta sort out the energy. Good and bad, no one's a must. Now I'm in with the wrong crowd. The days are getting long now. Don't know how much longer I'm holding out. The time is thinking it's going down. I'm waist deep, gotta get out. I'm waist deep, gotta get out. What I get myself in now? I'm waist deep, gotta get out. Man, I gotta keep moving. It's up to me, I gotta do it. Man, I gotta keep moving. It's up to me, I gotta do it. I'm waist deep, gotta get out.
Heavy in the packers, I know they gon' fall. I'ma need months now. Get into the bag like pow, pow. Thought I wouldn't, but tie down. Heavy in the packers, I know they gon' fall. I'ma need months now. Get into the bag like pow, pow. Thought I wouldn't, but tie down. Did you say I'm bad, but the streets say I'm good. I'ma go hard as I could. Don't ever get it misunderstood. I'ma apply pressure like Did you say I'm bad, but the streets say I'm good. I'ma go hard as I could. Don't ever get it misunderstood. I'ma apply pressure like
They going hard, but I'm going harder. That's for my son and my daughter. Hit the valet, tell them go bring the car up. Boy, you know I'm pushing Rari. I tear the tar up. I'm sorry, but I am not sorry. Cause I'm here now, but this not where I started. I used to work at Fish Marshall, cooking up sugar, take orders from bosses. He tell me to take out the garbage. Get mad as hell cause that smell made me nauseous. Through my apron like I'm over artist. Start working on being an artist. Hollywood, I'ma hit the red carpet. I'm dripping, so approach with caution.
What's up, everybody? I'm here at Challengers Champs because, as you know, we had the 16 best teams come out here to compete in Challengers for $150,000. First place is getting $60K. Right now, we got the winners finals going on behind me. It's P7 going up against Ole Miss EU. And so P7 Notorious, they're up right now. They're energetic. It's crazy. Now, we have our top 3 qualified teams for EWC. That's going to be P7 Notorious, Ole Miss EU, and Team War. So they're going through, but now we just got to find out who's going to win the $60K. So tune in to Challengers Champs and find out.
We are here in the middle of Warzone Arena, home of so many UFC fights. The 2010 Miss Universe competition. I know you love that one, Ed. So did Pac-Man, by the way. And of course, we've seen a lot of great shows and some phenomenal games. Today, I didn't expect as many upsets as we have seen. So,
Right.
Allie, how are we feeling? Are you still reeling? And are you upset that the Falcons are now in our top 3?
I'm in rotation right now. I'm going through a cycle. I'm off like 2 hours of sleep, so I was so excited about what today was going to bring, and it did not fail to deliver. Riyadh Falcons now going up against OpTic Texas in this losers final. I think is huge simply because of the story of Aluka right now, and Mercury is kind of having a similar situation, making more history.
Allie, you are also leading in our Player X poll. So let's take a look at our draft board and see where she's at now. Because it better not be in first. Darn, she's still in first place. But a attached, falling from glory from 2
Wait till next
all the way
match.
down
Wait till
to
next
4.
match.
Right. He's got to wait for FaZe.
And I got you by, what, 200 some points? We've got Allie about 400 points ahead of me.
Well, I will say
Dylan,
this.
I don't see how you can win this.
I need Dashy and Shotzi to pop off. I have full faith in them. Green Wall, y'all got to be allowed for out of this next match. I need these points.
Yeah, I need Shotzi to turn up. But, yeah, you got cramped, Chris, so...
I feel like we should put something on the line. Right now, we're just doing it for bragging points.
Simp is still my MVP, and he's in tomorrow's final.
That's
so
scary.
It's a best of 9. Vegas, you guys feeling good? I wanted to buy you all time to make sure you had your food and drink, your bathroom break, because this next one is going to be a huge best of 5. Nameless, for anyone who missed the storyline, what has it been like for the Green Wall?
Yeah, well, the Green Wall, they went to a heartbreaking Game 5 where they went up against FaZe. You know, it's been a while since they have played on LAN, and it was actually the first time those organizations played in the winners final in CDL history. And FaZe, they delivered. Winning that Game 5, Twin went off 0-4, dropping 40-plus kills. So in this series, you're going to need the SMG duo on the side of OpTic Texas to have a good one. Shotzi and Hoop, relatively quiet, they need to turn up versus the Riyadh Falcons.
We're going to be diving into these teams with all the fancy videos, but first, I want to reward some beta codes. I don't know if you can get them right now or if you just need to screenshot it for later, but get your beta code sweepstakes on for your chance to win open beta code early access. It's starting July 19th at 3 p.m. Pacific over at twitch.tv/Call of Duty _esports, Allie.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to be all over that. I cannot wait. Obviously, we're at the tail end of the season, Dill, but it doesn't mean we can't get excited for the next one.
And I don't want to speak too soon, but you guys know it. This next Call of Duty will be, in fact, the best Call of Duty of all time.
Bro.
So do not miss out on these beta codes.
This has been his gimmick forever.
How many years is that
It just gets better and better, okay, guys?
I like
you have
that.
to believe.
You have to believe, and believe you me, this team is going to be cheered for, I have a feeling. Let's make some noise for our first squad. They go by the name of OpTic Texas. Your number 1 seed through all regular season. They have been in 4 grand finals of 4 tournaments. They have recently won their most recent one. So now we have the monkey off our back, but we haven't been in this position outside of that major 4.
Yeah.
Nameless, are you comfortable here knowing that this is a new competition? We're down to just 2 teams on a Sunday.
Yeah, they're 100% confident here. You didn't get the best stuff from the SMG duo. I just said it. Those guys are going to perform in this series. And when you really look at it, being in this position in a loser final for OpTic, they're looking across like, we got the Riyadh Falcons. We can dominate these guys, right? This isn't an LA Thieves that they're expecting to play in this position. Now, I know that they've been buffed up, but OpTic clearly the favorite going into this one, and that was an extremely close series that they just lost.
Allie, do you still give any of these numbers credit, or is this a brand new Falcon squad with a Luka in the mix?
I know you don't want a middle answer or a yes, and it could be this. I'm gonna say no. I don't think it matters. I think with Luka and the way Falcons have been playing is night and day from the way they've been playing in past series. But I mean, if you are on the side of OpTic Texas, of course you're looking at those stats and you're like, we should have the advantage. I mean, Mert's got a 1.6 versus Riyadh. Shabby's got a 1.44 versus Riyadh. They're feeling great when they're looking on the other side of that
Last time they were in a loser's bracket, they won the tournament.
Yeah.
They did it in front of the loudest crowd in Call of Duty history, Ant.
Yeah, I mean, they should be feeling good right now. Every team that's went to this position and has won this match has won the grand final. So, for OpTic Texas, it's just about bringing your best stuff here. You're walking into the unknown. But Dashy, the MVP, he was performing, Dylan. He showed up in that series.
The reason I wouldn't be too worried is because OpTic, we can be honest, the only one that really played well that whole series was Mercules. He's putting up so much damage, so many kills, and it still took FaZe beating them in a game 5. I think OpTic, they haven't had a bad series back-to-back all season. They're going to come out hot and probably take this one.
Look at the smug face on the oldest player in the league. Dashy and the bros about to take this stage as OpTic Texas is fighting for a top 3. Allie, looking at his numbers so far in this tournament, not so bad. In the grand finals, though, he dropped 16,000 damage, averaging a 1.2 KD.
I mean, you just have to be realistic with the squad. Any one of them drop MVP numbers on any given day, and they just don't have bad days. Like, when you look at OpTic Texas, like, other teams have to play above their ceiling to take them down. We saw that from FaZe. It was the best FaZe that we have seen all season long. And when you look at this lineup, Dashy seems like every series is getting a little better and a little better and a little better. He's been their equalizer, I feel like, all tournament long, that when you need him the most, he's really stepped up.
Dylan, when you look at the 3 teams remaining, there's something that all have in common. They all have rings on their roster. Let's take a look here at our squads and the ring count overall. How many players have 3? Well, it's just 4 of them. Karma's got 2 more, though, as a coach. They call him DB5. Clayster could earn his 4th ring if he gets it as a coach. And, of course, our player Shotzi would be the first player to ever win 4.
And on the other side of that, you have Sim potentially getting his 3rd ring. So this is a lot of implications this weekend. This is a legacy-defining match, legacy-defining tournament. Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen? If Shotzi wins this, he might be the greatest COD player of all time. If Sim wins it, he throws his hat in the ring as well.
And then Clay looking for his first coach ring as well, which, trying to join this guy, one of the Legends all-time greats, won 3 rings as a player. You see it throughout the years, and since he's been a coach, his squad has been lights out. Damon Barlow, one of the greatest minds that we've ever had.
And can I just say how lucky we are that Damon decided to stay in the esports side of Call of Duty? This guy is good at every single game he touches. His streams are entertaining as hell. He could probably be a multi-millionaire. Instead, he's just going to hold about 10 M's.
He just loves ball.
Yeah, it's rough life being that good. Damon, of course, is going to be leading the way. On the Falcon side, you have Clayster, who is newer to the coaching role. Do you think the coaches are going to have a big impact? And did they actually plan to play each other as the #1 and #7 seed in this tournament?
I mean, I think so just because of who they are. You know, I think some teams you would maybe weigh the coaches a little bit less because of the personalities on the squad. But I think we were talking about Clay and Karma. They absolutely could be the win or loss for both their squads.
If you've been looking at the numbers all year long, OpTic has always been the favorites. We're here in Vegas, so let's take a look here at the title numbers. OpTic, of course, lost 2-3 to Vegas in the winners final. Thieves have been eliminated as they were our #2 seed. FaZe are currently in that grand finals after a 3-0, and we have the Gentlemates now removed by the Falcons attached.
Yeah, it's been a crazy weekend so far. OpTic, you know, they stumbled a little bit versus FaZe, but it happened. And every single major so far this year, the team that has lost in the winners finals has went on to win the tournament. So I'm sure the Green Wall, they're not too stressed.
And have we had a 7 seed go as far to win a tournament yet? Because we have a 7 seed still in the mix. Let's take a look at our dark horses. Koi, we're topping this leaderboard. They went out as fast as they could.
Yeah, I mean, we had some good performances here, though. G2, they didn't go out without a fight. Those guys showed us that they had the ability to take down one of the top seeds. Obviously, the Riyadh Falcons still in here, beating LA Thieves and the Gentlemates. Heretics, top 6 placing, ties their best on the season. So some of these teams showed up. And, you know, if you look at Koi, it's been a tough year for them since losing Joe Deceives, but still got EWC coming up. But the story, without a doubt, regardless, is going to be the Falcons and Aluka.
For sure. I do think an interesting thing about this, though, is like if we were to start the weekend and look at that, I don't think many of us would have picked G2 and Falcons to be the one to make that run. I think we would have leaned Koi in Miami, and I think that's also what makes it so much fun.
I wish this venue would allow us to throw monster cans into the crowd. I have
Maybe
not heard enough noise. Vegas, did you guys watch Paris Major 4? We got a French crowd to keep up with. Make some noise if you are ready for this battle. This guy's saying, throw me the monster.
I'm not flinching yet. That doesn't mean it's loud enough.
You know what it is, though? They all just watch the Falcons, and they're a little bit worried.
Oh, that's it.
Because the majority of these guys are OpTic fans, and I think they're a little bit scared of Aluka, and rightfully so. I would be, too.
Now, I saw XNID bouncing around on the lobby floor at 9 a.m. We are now getting deep into the evening by esports standards. Does this affect the Falcons? Let's take a look at the roster that is coming off a win, but has had to make a historic run. Remember, they played in the very first match of the day attached.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect them at all. These guys just are happy to be here. You see Exit on that main stage. He is so easy to root for, and he brings so much energy. He loves this. He is so passionate about it. And Aluka, this is a dream come true for him. He's playing his first ever event, COD Champs, already a top 3, going up against OpTic now. It's incredible to watch.
And I mean, to that story of like it being nice and late, they've got 2 young guns in Exit and Aluka. So I think the Kismet and Celium, the big old pets, can definitely take a step back. But I do want to touch on just the search and destroy, the Monster Energy pregame #1 S&D team right now at Champs with a 4-1 record. That's been their biggest difference. They were struggling at S&D coming into this, and clearly they've worked on some problems.
Yeah, and you can't change how you're playing at all. Exnet's taking chances, so is Aluka. Listen, they might be in their heads thinking we're playing with house money.
One S&D team right now at Champs with a 4-1 record. That's been their biggest difference. They were struggling at S&D coming into this, and clearly they've worked on some problems.
Yeah, and you can't change how you're playing at all. Exnet's taking chances, so is Aluka. Listen, they might be in their heads thinking we're playing with house money. I've been in this position before, late into a COD Champs, and I faltered in that spot in the grand final. These guys have a huge opportunity. That's where I think Kismet and Clayster are going to be huge for them, having been in this position plenty of times, as well as Celium.
Is the sniper rifle the impact in search and destroy? How do you take down juggernaut teams like Los Angeles Thieves in one of their best game modes?
The unexpected. Exnet, his motor's unreal. We just watched that raid, pushing ring over and over, playing like a rat, like catching them off guard. That's what you can do. Shotzzy just had 6 first deaths in that game 2 S&D. You try to do the same thing.
And you would think a new team that only has a week of practice would be hesitant, but no, they are making plays. They have found a system that works for them so quick. So you have to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff, the analysts, everyone on the team. You could tell the amount of hours they put in to prepare for this tournament. It is paying off right now. They look like a well-oiled machine. They are peaking at the right moment.
Allie, both Ant and I put Celium on our Player X rosters. He had kind of a quiet game 5. He got 900 damage, but a 1-8 overall. How's the Celium Index looking when it comes to percentage of series with positive KDs?
Listen, I don't care about that Game 5 because we have been blessed with some seriously insane Celium performances throughout this weekend, and that was something we were waiting for. He was a little bit quiet at the start of the season on this roster as they were figuring out the iterations, figuring out the roles, figuring out the chem, and it feels like they finally found the puzzle pieces that allows Celium to be the Celium that we are used to.
Now, if Celium loses this match, does Joe Deceives become our number one on the KD list? We'll do the math later. For now, we got to take a look at the rookie from Germany, the only pro German in the mix, and he's doing it at the age of 19. Attach, I'm getting vibes of previous players.
Yeah, I mean, he passed the eye test online when we first saw him in Black Ops 7 through that one online tournament. But here on land, he's doing it every time. We're wondering, is it just one lucky match? No, he does it again. Is it just 2 lucky matches? No, he does it again. But this is, of course, his biggest challenge he's going to face in OpTic, Texas, on land for a spot in the grand finals. But he is disgusting. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far out of Aluka.
Yeah, and I think what's also awesome about this guy is you go back to, that last series, the game 4, he had an opportunity to close out that soccer on the long pinch, takes a shortcut, little rookie mistake, deals with it fantastic in the game 4 break, comes back, clutches a 1v2, and drops 11. He is so comfortable, and this is what a wonderful comparison. You think about Mercury's bursting into the scene last year, winning a couple of events, and obviously taking champs. Luka is kind of in that same position. If they get through this match, they will only be 1 match away. To me, without a doubt, this is the matchup to look out for in this series.
Mercury's a second-year player. On the right, you had Aluka in his very first event. Miracles in his very first event won champs. We'll see if he's able to repeat that 13 years later. We've got some awesome history being written, and we're just waiting on the players a few more minutes. So Attach, while we're waiting on this match to kick off, how surprising is it to see the Falcons? Have they hit their ceiling? And how low is their floor? Because I feel like we definitely haven't seen that yet.
I mean, without a doubt, it's incredibly surprising. Their best placing before this on land was top 6. Xnid was struggling earlier in the season on land. He was getting a lot of criticism that maybe he's the one that should be dropped. He shows up to champs and takes over. The past few majors, he's been playing great, but no one expected this. No one had Falcons in the top 3, and somehow they're here. But I'm so glad that they figured it out. They're such an easy team to root for, and they deserve to be here. It goes to show that all the work they put in throughout this year is all coming together at this moment.
I don't want to see the community or anybody dragging Xnid's name ever again.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's too good.
Has gotten so much hate for some of the roster moves that people wanted them to make throughout the season. He has absolutely delivered. And also playing under those circumstances has to be extremely difficult when people are calling for your name. This guy is a monster. Pulling off huge plays for first bloods, like he deserves that spot in that team.
Everyone's allowed to have an opinion. Nameless is allowed to make fun of you for it. We are going to be jumping into this game in just a moment. One player from each team is taking a deep breather in a small room. We take a look at the bracket as we buy a little extra time. Attached this time around, for anyone who has missed the first 3 days of action, I think there was no surprises. These were the top 8 teams all season. These were the 8 we expected to see at champs. How many upsets did you see? How many surprises from your bracket that you had on paper?
Well, the craziest one for all of us is LA Thieves. We thought this team would be a shoe-in for the grand finals, minimum top 3 or 4 at champs. They didn't even make it a top 8. Back-to-back horrible COD champs performances out of them, which is very disappointing. And then other upsets. I mean, Koi.
Yeah, Koi was more just like lackluster than it was like an upset. I feel like it's like maybe with a few weeks practice, they're going to come in, give us a little something, and then unfortunately they just
I thought Koi, though, had it wrapped up after that overload game 3. Instead, it was Miami bouncing back. They get top 6, which is tying their best score on the year. So I'm told we're almost ready. So let's take a look here at our prizing. What are they playing for here in our elimination final? Well, you're already in the top 3. $320,000 is going to your bank account, but can you add another 160 grand? And more importantly, have the honor of playing in this sold-out arena on Sunday.
Yeah, listen, everybody was making fun of Sully. He gets his piece of the pie, regardless of what you want to say. He's getting a double dip. But yes, as you get to this point in the tournament, you can start to get a little bit complacent. You look at that number. These guys have to lock in. But yeah, that's a big number there at number 1.
Tell him, I like that number. Always on top of all the indexes. We take a look here at your maps and modes. Attached 5 games this time around. OpTic. I feel like they've only dropped 1 or 2 best of fives in my memory, and it has been in that winner's bracket finals. As we take a look at this one, is there a weakness in OpTic's map pool that made it in?
There's no weakness. That team does not have a weakness. They have lost 2 best-of-5 series on land all year. That is insane. This team is a dynasty in the making, and they're all professionals. They've been here before. Multi-time world champions, so many rings on that team. They've been through the highest pressure moments in Call of Duty that we've ever seen. They're going to come out here. They're going to take care of business. It's just another match for them. We know they're going to perform.
Looking at the Search and Destroys, I'm leaning Riyadh Falcons to that raid Search and Destroy at the game number 5. I think they're feeling great there. I am worried about the Scar Overload, though, just because of OpTic Texas and what Hacienda would like to do on that map. It could get really mixy in the middle here. I think this Hacienda and the way that Riyadh Falcons started is going to be huge.
Yeah, I think Riyadh Falcons love Hacienda.
Yeah.
And then if they're able to take that, which is massive for them, the game 2 den, everything. There's so much VOD on OpTic on that map. We just saw what they like to do. You got to think Play was in the back.
If you're betting some channel points on this one, you should probably follow this man's lead. He has been on fire, calling back-to-back upsets. Give it up for Nameless. Where are we going this time?
I'm going with OpTic in this one. I think the Lightning is not going to strike for the Falcons. OpTic are going to get back to that grand final where you can get a match versus FaZe.
Attach, you're up next. 8-4. You were 1-7-2. It was looking so good. Finish strong.
Good.
I don't know if I'm feeling another upset. I think we got to go with OpTic. We're taking the safe pick this time.
Oh, you know I love a good story.
Is it time?
They beat your Gentlemates.
Sorry, it's not time. OpTic is too good. I'm going to go with the green wall. I think we get a FaZe and OpTic final.
Yeah.
How many years have we had a team go to every single grand finals? It feels like at the very beginning of a game's title, and we are doing it now in Black Ops 7. OpTic's going 5 for 5 in grand finals. I got them taking this one over the Falcons. It's the number 1 seed versus the 7 seed. Guy Blaze, do you agree? Let's get this party started.
I'm not sure if I agree just yet, Chris, because this is Champs and there are no free matches here. Every gunfight gets harder, every rotation has more obstacles, but the wins get sweeter. And we're about to see who's gonna taste victory and make it to Championship Sunday. And our squads are ready, our players are nervous, but they're about to lay it out on the stage. So without further ado, coming to the stage first, from Riyadh, get loud for the Falcons. Aluka, X-Mid, Kismet, and Celium. These Falcons, after every match, have gotten faster, sharper, and they are ready for anyone in their way. Let's see if they can strike again and make it to Championship Sunday.
What a huge win that they just had up against the Gentlemates. Nobody was picking them to come out on top. But this is going to be their toughest task yet. They have to go through the green wall against the crowd. But that man in the middle, look at him, ear-to-ear grin. Aluka could be the key. He could be the answer in this matchup.
They got a lot of things on this team that can get them to Sunday. And we'll see if they can put the pieces together for a great series. But no matter what you do, the team coming to the stage next, it doesn't matter. Because with the green wall behind them in this venue and around the world, they will take you down. Get ready for the back-to-back world champions, OpTic Texas. Who? Hercules, Shotzi, and Dashi. Coming off a difficult series, they are locked in again and ready for a win. These are your world champions, and they're not going home yet.
I mean, it's called a green wall, and it feels like that's all it has been the entirety of this season, is you have to get through it. If you even want to touch a grand final, if you even want to touch a win, and it almost feels impossible, especially when they finally got one under their belt at Major 4. History possibly in the making. We got one more upset. That could ruin a lot of people's day, guys.
It's in the making, and I can feel that, Allie. Vegas, can you feel the energy on the stage? I got chills. The players are ready to go. Shift, study. Let's lock it in.
It is the unpredicted versus the potential special, unprecedented. Riyadh taking on OpTic for a chance at the Call of Duty League World Championship Grand Final. And like everyone's talking about, ain't nobody had this as a lower final matchup. But boy, we could be in for a bang.
The battle of the expected versus the unexpected. You expect OpTic at this point of the year to consistently be put in positions to make championship Sundays. They have done it in every single major, but they want to do it here at Champs. On the opposite side, the unexpected factor for the Falcons on 2 weeks' notice. A whole bunch of talk of what the roster was going to look like walking into the Michelob Ultra Arena. And they decide to pick up a 19-year-old kid. And they are currently top 3.
Brother, they're still figuring out where to stand when they do their walkouts. And they're finding themselves in a lower final. And the vibes could not be higher. We said this on day number 1 when we watched these guys play up against these. There is nothing more dangerous than a team with nothing to lose, except for a team with nothing to lose that's believing in themselves.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we have on stage with this Falcons squad.
Because every single time you watch these guys play, I feel like they're leveling up their game. You start off the tournament by taking down one of the favorites in LA. You just ended your last matchup by taking down another favorite and then completing, not allowing them to get that reverse sweep. And by just seeing so much passion being dripped from the side of the Falcons, they wear their hearts on their sleeves. Even though the crowd is going to be against them, like you said, they believe in themselves, and that's all it's going to take.
It's an unbelievable amount of metal right there to stop a very, very strong squad from, like you mentioned, trying to get that reverse sweep underway. You do it by finding a number of really clutch search and destroy rounds back to back to back, really. Speaking of, that's, of course, what the Green Wall is looking for this weekend. And it's one of those things, like you come off the Classico, you play a heartbreaker as you have this insane winners finals, but a chance to recover. And again, these guys have been here before, recently doing almost the exact same pathway when they were in Paris just a couple weeks ago.
Just a little bit different because not everyone was firing in that last series versus FaZe. The fact they were able to force all the way at game number 5, with Shotzi having multiple first steps in search and destroy, with Hook not being as consistent as he was in his slaying. It was Mercules who was keeping them alive. You know, this coaching staff is stellar for the Green Wall. Gonna make sure they are prepared for this moment. You do not want to get upsetted by a squad who was just formed not too long ago.
Well, the seriousness of this match could not be any higher. The Falcons have been proven by way of the bracket that they have unfolded in front of themselves, starting off by taking down the number 2 seed. Could they up that by finding a surprise entryway into the grand finals? It would be a miracle in a lot of ways, especially considering all the numbers that we're going to see throughout this series. This map set's going to look very, very polished and very strong for OpTic Texas, but all the numbers have seemingly meant nothing, especially when you consider the Falcons. So let's go on into Hacienda Hardpoint. We got OpTic Texas taking on the Riyadh Falcons in our elimination finals. Let's get it on.
The last battle to make it to the last dance tomorrow. On board here with Shotzi. He's always going to be the playmaker here for the Green Wall. Already starting off with a great position, but the slaying is there for the Falcons.
Well, able to get a little bit of damage onto Hook, who's able to put some pressure on towards that top window position. But the ARs for Riyadh have come out hot, and that's exactly what you need for the Falcons. You talk about Hacienda Hardpoint. We watched OpTic script this match. JP was saying, ain't no one going to play us on it. Riyadh says, bet. They're 2-0 on the weekend.
It's the unexpected, man, that is catching a lot of teams off guard. What maps is this Falcons roster going to throw into the mix? OpTic are happy as hell to see the Hacienda, but to start off this P1, Falcons are doing it dirty. They get 17 seconds. You're trying to contest for these P2 spawns, but it's one player alive. Dashy has to make the play.
Timing here. Whoa, Cell almost able to get the turn on to Mercules, but he's able to survive. Keep OpTic with some numbers behind the driveway. Dashy finds the Luca. Clean win there. But from the front, opportunity here for the Falcons to make a mess of this setup. In particular, Exton, who again has been unbelievable. Able to get Hook down to 6 HP, but it's not enough to do much damage. OpTic have the hill.
Yeah, OpTic are now in the full setup. You have space being cleared out from Shotzi, front side at Rock. Back spawns being secured from Mercules. Falcons right now just trying to find a way on in. Kismet decides to go solo on a one-man mission. That's not going to lead to the first gunfight going your way. Texas is going to shut down this first wave. They take the lead.
At least there's a little bit of space here for the Falcons to put together one more break attempt on the hill, but it's going to largely have to come through by the front. Moved off 3, tagged up, traded. Now an opportunity as the Falcons are going to get a 3v2 on towards the hard point. Spawns are still very close onto the driveway. Shotzi off his respawn up the line 2. Exit gets another double, but it's Mercules who has the final 1v1. Doesn't look like Selling is much interested in playing for the time, so OpTic will have the lead.
And OpTic looking fantastic, even though it's been almost 2 hours since the last time you've seen them on the main stage. Everyone is providing their 25. Fantastic at the P2 HP, and now finding gunfights off the rotation. You can potentially spawn Celium out. You have a 4v3 now.
Yeah, this is a big 1v1 here. X able to beat Shotzi to the punch. Follow-up though potentially on the way as Mercules is playing over towards top patio. Hook's already put pressure on from the front, so now Merc is activated. Off 3 in a row, 6 and 2 start. It just feels like OpTic have 7 members in the map right now. Riyadh, you can see their arrows just constantly turning left, right, center. Where are these OpTic green wall players? And they're all over you. Shots come through. Look at the last one to stand. That'll be enough to keep the Falcons in spawn.
Yeah, right now they're just getting outclassed in the teamwork aspect of the game. OpTic efficient. Talk about the slaying presence. 30 seconds already gone here at the P3, and OpTic scoreboard just keeps on going up. You need to find a sequence of kills, and that might be good enough for this final 20.
Okay. That's a huge moment to breathe there for Riyadh, because it was starting to get a little off the rails. Taking the turn at a speed that does have moving over. But you have to be, that's going to be off the old time. That's not net time that you want to miss out on if you're Riyadh. A couple of seconds will still be tallied. That's going to leave the Riyadh Falcons short-handed until Aluka pops up. Is he able to get free? Yes, he is. One more from the front. Aluka's got both weapons to play with. Couple of shoulders. Hoop will drop, and the Falcons are back in.
Yeah, they would have desperately loved to get that final 10 seconds because you could have locked down this P4 even more. But now all pressure from OpTic spawning over towards the garage side. It's a 20-point difference. Focus is starting to come into play, and the rookie is still streaking 5 in a row.
What can he do? Shotzi seen down low towards the water. No one else from OpTic has been noticed as of yet. 3 players making their way through Spiral. Riyadh will have to receive this from inside the hard point. Aluka off 5. Little contest from the front. The gun's now up over towards the open staircase. First 2 kills good for OpTic. Exiting the double swap, but the teammate comes through, and Shotzi will have the final word for the break.
That's way too easy if you are OpTic. No one contesting 2 top open hallway. They say, screw it, we're just going to send it with these SMGs. Someone bait and switch. And it works out for the 4v2 trade fights. So OpTic keeping the lead safe, trying to maintain this hallway control. Celium able to find one, but at least for now, OpTic looking good on the first set.
Absolutely, but watch this little zone on the exit from old to new. High ground control, pretty significant for the Falcons, but Shotzi just slides out and avoids Celium's shots completely and then pops up to find Aluka. Stun check also, gonna lock down Kismet from finding the trade. Off the reject, Shotzi for more, no, not quite. Kismet's able to get at least 1 trade back, but OpTic are in the time.
If you're a Falcons, you gotta quickly get him out of there. I know you wanna initially start to try to fight for these hallway controls, but every single second you give up, so they're gonna allow more pressure on your end. 3 kills go their way. Shotzi last man standing. It does lead to a break here for Falcons with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, big light right here though for Shotzi. Going back over to the hard point. He's got help to try to reduce the play on the hill, but it will be the Falcons with an inappropriate response finding 3. We'll give them a little bit of vacancy and space to work off this rotation towards new, but OpTic have numbers. They're pushing with still 15 seconds on the hill.
And this is where Falcons need to make up for what happened in the first set and win the rotation over towards this funny hill. Kills going their way, can't find the second onto the new. But you still have the advantage on the numbers on this side of the map. Just not going to be able to snap onto dashes, so OpTic are already contesting for those back spawns.
Well, here's Exnit in his second year, the sophomore, playing over towards the front. But behind the first one, leaning towards that, not able to provide it. Now it's up to Aluka. He has been a straight shooter, but has a lot to worry about and has just not able to keep his head on the swivel fast enough. Kismet trying to follow from inside the hard point. Does well to keep the time here for the Falcons, but from the back, look at Dashy's position. He's completely reduced the ability for the Falcons to get together, and all these individual gunfights are keeping in the favor of OpTic.
Yeah, but Dashy gets too aggressive and no one hard blocking, so now it almost gives you the opportunity for giving up these back spawns. And at least you are going to be able to do it, but it's only 25 seconds left. You will gladly take it because the entire kill feed is lit up in green. That is going to be all 4 dead. The nuke on 5 in a row. This is a pull-away moment here for OpTic.
Absolutely huge from Hoot, getting really close to that Hellstorm. 140 to 79. Rotation being halted for a moment by Mercury. Shotzi also the second layer behind this play towards fences. Spawns are about to open up. OpTic have the position. They have the numbers, so the Falcons need to win some gunfights badly.
You just don't have any advantages because every single time these sequences start to go down, it's usually OpTic starting it off. This time it's going to be Kismet, Exnit, Celium combining for 3, but still the last man standing is the new. He picks up the Hellstorm. He's on 7 in a row. You saved that for P4.
Okay, well, it's 150 to 90. Falcons are still in the hard point, but the OpTic Texas pressure is starting to come through. Let's take a listen in with Texas.
One's their side, their side. There's more out here.
Another one, outer and flat. Nice, last guy was outer flat. Soak this time and rotate. I gotta do this one.
Really good time. And yeah, we have a shake. You like how they get shakes, so you can shake.
I'm in the water.
He's gonna shake. Actually, wait, we have hill. Yeah, we have hill. Never mind. Get it.
Maybe Lambo.
I have a trip for us time. Yo, guys, close to me.
Nothing open.
I'm blocking lava. One's front, boys.
Challenge. Close.
Watch out, guys. Two.
Play together.
I think he's our side. No, one guy's open. Absolute.
Outer challenge.
Nice.
I got double naded. One more outer. Their side. Short.
Close. Another one. Enter. Short.
He's returning.
Just hold. I'm open fire. No, help front.
What's wrong?
Don't die.
Buy time.
All it is one shot there.
Yeah, what's in the water?
Bottom it there.
I'm trying to short right now.
Play for both sides.
Who's top part? Three.
Short. I got it.
Three top part. I'm getting the time. They're open.
I mean, what do you say about that? Lisa Al-Gaib, Mercules with the huge heads-up play on the route, goes on a massive streak, and that blows the game wide open.
And it's not even like OpTic are doing the crazy stuff, outslaying them by 100 kills. No, it's just efficiency right now in the gameplay. Every single time Falcons are trying to execute a break, trying to execute a setup, they're not winning that initial fight, and that automatically gives the advantage every single time to the green wall. They're about to be able to breach that 200-point mark. Shotzzy on 5 in a row. You still got a backup Hellstorm just in case it gets a little bit scary. OpTic, if you thought they were going to be flat, hell to the no.
Falcons are keeping it mixy, but they need a moment, and they're going to need to put a couple together at this point. Aluka only able to get one, will be shut down. Shotzzy on 6 is very, very close to another Hellstorm, which was just the icing on the cake for map number 1. Sees the contest, finds it, another Hellstorm tallied. So much insurance built into this OpTic Hacienda hardpoint.
And with the lead that they currently have, you know that Falcons can't afford to give up any time, so they're going to contest till the final seconds of the P1, and that's going to give you free space to hit the rotation through the front door at P2.
Oh, man.
OpTic can close it out here. The Nuke setting up dirty pinches. That's 3 trying to locate the final guy on 9 in a row shots. He finally gets shut down, but OpTic looking to close it out right here.
Yeah, that's just another moment where Riyad's making the right play, but you just can't keep track of the subs. They are everywhere, all the time, always. Hit from the front. That might be the only real option here for Riyadh. They're able to at least neutralize up the time. Hookah for 1. But the trades continue to allow OpTic to still hold the spawns and, of course, still hold the hard point until Kismet gets 2, and that will actually find the time for the Falcons to spawn in driveway.
Yeah, but OpTic only needs 16 more points. Potentially have 2 Hellstorms to bail you out for the rest of this game. We're going to commit. Trying to win it right here, right now. 2 through the front, 2 through side door. Mercury finds the first, but it's effective trades for Falcons.
Luke gonna give the exit. One more little attempt. It will be shut down. So the Falcons will get closer to the 150 mark. But as you mentioned, 2 Hellstorms. Rotation win currently underway. It feels like only a matter of time here for OpTic. It has to be perfect on this move for the Falcons, and they're going to be slowed down by Shotzzy calling in the first Hellstorm. Exit does give you 1, but you've got to find a way to contest the time here because they can just win it by holding this Hellstorm. Hoops able to find 2 through office, and that may be the final punch. Last attempt for the Falcons to jump on in. Aluka's able to give you 1. The follow from Hercules is there, and OpTic just need 1 more second, but the break does come through at the last moment.
Dashy almost get it done by himself. No, but that's why you got another bailout Hellstorm. Force the Falcons indoor. Someone just sprint towards the HP. You only need 1 more second. And it's still OpTic on the mini-map doing the fundamentals when they are this close to the finish line. 2 kills go their way, 3 kills go their way, and OpTic take back 1. I guess JP was right, Al. That's why we don't play them on Hossie.
Bro, it's just, this is such a tough team to pick into. I mean, the veto process, in case you didn't see it, it was Scar that got vetoed out by Riyadh, understandable. But that leaves open Hacienda, Gridlock, Colossus. It's like all the bread and butters that we've seen from OpTic over the last month and a half. And I get it if you're the Falcons. Okay, let's leave Hacienda open. We played it well. We beat Thieves there. Thieves aren't a bad team on Hacienda whatsoever. But it's just when you watch OpTic play this map, anytime that it's a 4v3, it feels like a 6v3 because someone's hitting around. Or in particular, just looking at that first P2 where Dashy's at rock, Shotzi's over towards well, they're both floating and just keeping the Falcons from ever putting together a setup. It just got to be so frustrating to play against.
And you can just tell by watching the minimap, the trust on the side of OpTic is at an all-time high. Dashy the entire time was staying pushed out towards Rock. He didn't care if Exit popped the double in towards Lambo. He trusts his team to go fly on in and get that trade. Efficient Call of Duty from the green wall. Taking care of business, shutting up any momentum that Falcons thought that they were going to have from that last series. That's what you want to see.
Absolutely the case. 32 and 19 from Boot. Just continues to put up unfathomable numbers. And it's just one of those things, like, you got to give a lot of credit where credit is due. Like, considering the Falcons were not able to put together really one stable setup, they kept themselves in this game. I think you call a really important moment early. It feels kind of negligible because of the final score, but that moment at P3 fences where you lose out in about 15 seconds, you don't expect that nade to land, is pretty critical because that keeps you from building momentum going from 3 to 4, and that's where OpTic starts to eventually put your pressure on rotation.
Yeah, you would have done an extra 10 seconds, potentially locking down a better P4 setup, but just kept on allowing OpTic to streak whenever they needed to dominate the money hills. If you're going to play Hacienda and lose basically every single P2 and every single P4, you're most likely going to get 100-point club. Like you said, just the Falcons trying to stay in the fight. Just couldn't really find trades onto the SMGs, who were just continuously getting lost on the map.
They just play the game at that speed where only a couple of squads can keep them at least somewhat arm's length. Falcons not quite able to get through the hurdle there, but that is OpTic's pick. So I think if you're mentally looking at that, you're the Falcons are saying, all right, we know that we're kind of running up the hill at full speed here, but not the end of the world if we drop the map. But now you look at the overall series and you say, okay, you're fighting, you're gunning, you're keeping yourself in the kill feed, but we got to find a way to make sure we're out strategizing OpTic the map too.
Without a doubt, man, because they're desperately going to need this map number 2. We can talk about the teamwork aspect of what Falcons have been showing throughout this weekend. You see it in Harbor Point. You see it in Search and Destroy. Where Overload sometimes relies on mano-a-mano, me versus you. When you don't have that consistency in your SMGs all the time, you need to enter into this best of 5 earlier before you go down and make it to that Overload. Then Search and Destroy, they have yet to test with this new 4.
Yeah.
You just watch OpTic play this one. They still were able to clutch up in a 6-5 with shots and getting blooded 6 times.
Yeah.
Just got to make good play calls.
But just, I think the interesting thing is, like, let's just focus and hone in a little bit onto Aluka. I mean, he's cutting his teeth right now on glass. You jump into a debut on the champ stage and you have to square up against Scrap, your MVP. Handles it, does pretty well. Get through the lower bracket, you get a chance to go up against Sib, who's probably one of the most aggressive over-challengers when it comes to AR battles. He's going to want to take every fight, and he handles it. Same kind of situation, you have to play up against Abuza and Drowza, that's tough. Handled it pretty well. But now you're going up against Dashy, who, let's be honest, he has been the definition of locked, especially when we watched him on Search so far this weekend.
Telling you, if you're going to challenge Dashy and you miss a shot,
you're dead.
You might as well go home. Because that guy does not miss headshots out of this world with the M15. And even if he runs out of ammo in that gun, that Jaeger is pretty damn good too. So for Falcons on this Search and Destroy, we need to find early success to give us the advantage. You know that OpTic loves to play with pace. If you put them in a 3v4 uncomfortable position, continue to play slow, play for their playmakers.
I think at least strategy-wise for the Falcons, why do you pick this map? You know that you can at least somewhat keep the SMGs in front of you, and that's already come to fruition. The Stellium finds first blood on the shots and trying to play through mid-cut. And Kismet will get a deep position with servers here while the bomb lingers on the backside towards B.
Yeah, and Hookah's just gotta commit. Potentially get behind enemy lines, but now it's a 4v2 and Kismet is now behind you. 1v4, all left up to Mercules. Gets 1 kill, is able to get out, but bomb is getting planted.
Yeah, this is just one of those moments with an SMG that you don't feel great about. Bomb planted. A lot of work to be done here. First step is just getting a look at what's around me, and he's not going to get much of a look whatsoever. Really clean round for the Falcons.
Extremely clean. You know that OpTic initially always want to play for that mid-map control so they can set up that crossfire around that B site. Well, you have players like Dash just scouting over towards rooftop. Once they find that first blood, Kismet puts himself in such a good position. Then, like I just said before the map started, if you get that first blood, OpTic tend to get antsy, quickly trying to make up for the numbers. Who gets caught? And that's basically the round already done. Falcons get the first.
That's big just to take some aggression out of OpTic's playbook early. See what OpTic decides to draw first on their first attack. Looking for some main presence at least over through mid. Luka's going to give that a shoulder. He will beat eyes with Luke. Both players going stuns. The main focus over towards rooftops and falling off the map there, I believe, is Kismet. Shotzi gets credit for the elimination, and we're going to get an early 3v2 for OpTic.
Dashi gets all the information that you want. Bomb carry now going to work his way up through the middle of the map. Instead of rushing it, they're going to come in on these spikes. And Luka with the perfect spot. Gets to the top window. You don't have an angle on him. And you heard the Death's touch on it. This two duo between the Luka and Exton. They could pull something out of nothing. 2v3, Falcons now up 2.
Those are two boiling point melter laser beams out of a Luka too. And a really good read on the rotation timing-wise for Falcons. I think just when you initially lose that push towards rooftops, you're sitting there like, uh-oh, they're gonna hit us. But that is a snap from a Luka. 4-0 start for him.
Luka Nakua going crazy on the main stage. Trying to pick up an early Hellstorm, but that's why his duo and Exton has that boomstick. First blood followed up by a second kill. Already a 4v2.
On Luka, he wants to kill number 5. Tries to challenge out. Two of his teammates for the trade, and they do. Last one left will be Dashi. Late on the rotation, over from his position on the island at A. Take their time, footsteps heard. Exton gets the damage out to allow Kismet to find the easy trade out, and that is going to be 3 first bloods for a 3-0 start for the Falcons.
It's happening very quickly, too.
I'll say.
If you're OpTic, this is where the mid-round adjustments need to start to come on in. Slow down the game. Because Falcons, with their aggression, they know that they're playing with nothing to lose. There was no expectations for this roster to be in this position. But OpTic needs to be able to make adjustments.
Yeah, sure do. Because right now, every single round has been well and firmly in control of Riyadh from pretty much start to finish. I mean, yes, first bloods will give you that intention. So, can OpTic find a way to keep themselves in the round a little bit longer? Dashing shoulder up top at the hole, is able to at least see one member. Quick smoke. OpTic going for that stapled smoke, maybe plant scenario, but it's not going to fool the Falcons. This is a little bit of a fake. Shotzi just pushes through with Berkeley's on the dojo hit, and they're going to find the first 2.
Should be a guarantee round here for the green wall. They're going to decide to rush this bomb plant because they don't have any presence in the middle of the map, but information now gained. You spot out Exton with the sniper. He's not going to be able to hit this shot because Dashi's not going to peek again. And all you want to do now is just allow this game clock to keep on ticking.
Yeah, this is the only real play. Exton's going to move back over to join Selling, see if he can find himself a rifle on the ground. Stun comes through, Sell's got to find the opener, tags are out, able to find the first line of hoops, getting shots onto the second. That should leave Exton a chance to get a weapon, and yeah, he's able to pick one up, but Dashi shuts it down before the action can get a little bit too hot. Sell, dancing, dive in, looking for a knife, not going to reach anybody, and OpTic are on the board.
Yeah, good play call there from OpTic to switch it up. Not spread it around the map. Send all 4 players towards one side. Whip out an extra NPC. If they're not showing face, we're not going to commit on the bomb plant. We're going to take their side away. When that first gunfight goes down, you're not able to get the trade if you are Exton. A 4v2 immediately for OpTic. Finally get their first on the board.
I still think overall, and this was kind of when we watch OpTic play FaZe, and we were kind of talking about it in the green room, a lot of hits where it's smoke plant. Trying to kind of give you that mental focus was OpTic, but Falcons were not fooled by it. Couldn't win the gunfights, of course, but at least from the strategy side, you made the right call. Exton just a little bit short. Off that shoulder, back over towards mid. OpTic also kind of showing a little bit of aggression here with shots and Blue both playing through the B site.
Great stunt to gather this information onto Kismet being the aggressor. They're gonna force him to back on out. Already 25 seconds gone on the round, and Kismet puts himself in position to at least spot 2, but they're committed.
Yeah, when you're set up for this, if you are the Falcons, Luka's gonna come back from the bottom side of the overload goal. The info from Kismet is followed up beautifully. And now you have pretty much wide open B site. Dash is able to reduce the numbers to a 3v2 situation. Follow up to get another. It's on to Hercules for a 1 versus 2. And Riyadh are not going to commit for the objective yet. Hercules comes around the corner. Good shots, but not fast enough to get the read. It's 4-1 Falcons.
Just patient. Right now for Riyadh. Seems like OpTic are trying to play a little bit disrespectful certain times. That's all the map control that you want. You use the stun grenade, you spot out Kismet, you force him to back on down. And if you just keep your presence alive on that side of the map, stand a way better chance than just committing in this situation. Because Falcons barely take steps off spawn. They trap you in that 4v2. Now they have a 3-round lead again.
And no way is OpTic expecting that the bomb carrier of Aluka is playing that far deep. You've got Kismet who's just looking for info. We can run him down. Not so fast, not so close. OpTic on the next attack. Aggression for the rooftops once again. Versus the first and the shot supported by who? Give them the second. So second time we've seen that defensive setup for Falcons. Second time it's failed.
Another situation where OpTic have early numbers. But it's Aluka and Exnid left alive. Last time they clutched up on this similar situation. But instead of OpTic going through mid, we're taking the long route. We're going to get this planted.
Absolutely. Aluka and Exnid can work together. OpTic can clear through Dojo. Trophy systems are down. Hercules the one responsible for the pin. Shots out from Exnid. Easy follow-up from Merc. Last one left alive is the new guy, Aluka. 1 versus 3. Now look at the first one way cleanly. Slips away. Now has both weapons to work with. 35 on the clock.
Is getting planted. If you are Shotzi, you potentially are going to think that he's rotating to the middle of the map, but Mercury spots him, no need to commit.
Got info onto both. Aluka, push starts to come through, finds the first 1v1, no! Close. But no cigar, 4-2.
Almost another 2v3 clutch out of Aluka and Exnid. But Mercury's understanding the situation. Oh, you got him weak? Oh, I got an NPC. I'm going to send it in with this shotgun weapon. OpTic get their second offense of the map. Still a little bit that they need to figure out before they even get to the 4-4 score, but on their adjustments on defense just slow down the game.
Absolutely they need to. Again, first blood battle has been convincing for the Falcons, especially from what they've been able to do on the offensive side. Scope out for Exton, looking for crosses to the Dojo. That smoke over the top doesn't get to where it's intended to go. That's supposed to block the Dojo windows. So now Exton's going to switch over to the SMG to try to force the issue, kind of square peg, round hole situation here, but the space is, well, appreciated enough for Kismet to get the plant 4v4.
Yeah, and they're basically taking any playmaking ability out of Shotzi immediately. As soon as they commit so quick on that bomb plant. It's already 10 seconds gone. Celium is going to be the guy that has to focus on this guy. Can Shotzi sneak through?
No, Cell keeps the gun up. More to deal with though. Hoop trying to get the trade. Cell pretty more finding space. Nate comes out, damn it. Cell gets his follow-up on his own trade. Now it's just down to Merc. Able to find the first, down to 11 HP. Easy follow-up, and it's the Falcons on that point.
Just quick decisions again from the Falcons. There is no vibe from this team on this map. You have no idea what their playbook looks like. But every single time on their offense, they have had something different to throw at the wall. And OpTic are just not prepared for it. First blood's consistently going their way. But now Falcons looking to tie up the series at game point.
That's two great moments just to highlight how much the Falcons are aware and respect the fact that OpTic's going to play super deep, long routes. Doesn't matter what side of the bomb they run. That little bit of preparation has really tallied up 2 rounds of these 5 for the Falcons. OpTic looking for some aggression. Nice nade there from Aluka to slow things down. Merc's able to get the stun in towards Dojo. Aluka just backs up, plays his life. Kismet trying to look for first one. The cut not going to work out. Exit on the follow-up. He's able to find one, but the trade is there for who? Numbers for OpTic.
Aluka and Celium trying to clutch on up. Luke's going to take his sweet time though. Instead of forcing it to be a one-on-one on one side of the map, let me just get back over towards MC because he's reading this pressure.
Oh, MC able to find first. Luke is there for the support. There's a Shotzi, and it's going to be Cello as the last word. Another brilliant read from the Falcons. I mean, unbelievable awareness from the Falcons.
So many clutches there from Riyadh. You can't throw that away when you have number situations if you are OpTic. You just played this map. You just were able to be victorious even with certain players not really having a lot of success. But this is where the rookie is making vet plays. He takes that space to the middle. He said, screw this, I'm not gonna put myself in a 1v3. We stand a better chance at a 2v3. And you know Celium is not missing shots. Another clutch from the Falcons. The Wonder Kids keep on going. And they tie the series.
I love that final moment is the rookie and the vet. Oh my. And it's just so poetic because both finish on 10. and that has been the missing key. We talk about it so often, where Kismet's been in a weird spot and he has to flex out. We don't really have a second true AR. Aluka shows up and goes 1 for 1 with the top KD leader right now in the league.
And even with Kismet sitting at 3 and 6, allowing him to not run that bomb anymore after that roster change allows him to have that play style that he wants to do in Search and Destroy. He's always been a great mastermind in the Search and Destroy game mode. And he was also doing fantastic of just not allowing shots to get through. Cellium was able to find 4 first bloods on that map. I guess OpTic didn't learn quick enough.
Huge response from Riyadh, desperately needed, because as we often say, new squads often struggle a touch with the overload. That has been the big weak point for Riyadh so far, whereas OpTic, yeah, they're still just about as good as you would expect just about everywhere. Haven't lost an overload yet on the weekend, and they're heading into one of their favorites. It's Scar Overload in a 1-1 elimination final when we come back.
Come on, go!
Black Ops 7 returns to the Esports World Cup this summer. Scan the QR code to get your tickets now. Go pick up the 2026 Call of Duty League Championship Tracer Pack. You can support all 12 Call of Duty League teams. Player X is the official esports fantasy partner of the Call of Duty League.
Brought to you by America's Navy and the special operators who work in the shadows.
What's up, everybody? I'm here at Challengers Champs because, as you know, we had the 16 best teams come out here to compete in Challengers for $150,000. First place is getting $60K. Right now, we got the winners finals going on behind me. It's P7 going up against OMID EU. And so P7 Notorious, they're up right now. They're energetic. It's crazy. Now, we have our top 3 qualified teams for EWC. That's going to be P7 Notorious, OMID EU, and Team War. So they're going through, but now we just got to find out who's going to win the $60K. So tune in to Challengers Champs and find out.
Pure vibes here in Las Vegas, Nevada. But after a map 2 stunner, a level of calm and quiet has come by way of the venue, and we're looking at a 1-1 map count heading on in to a Scar Overload here at the Michelob Ultra Arena. And I'll tell you what, if Falcons could come out and keep that hotness here, we could have something that is just, once again, completely unprecedented, something that no one would have possibly predicted. And so far they're saying that even though map 1 necessarily didn't go our way, we're right in the series.
They just continue to do the unexpected. This squad is playing maps for the very first time. Obviously, you practice on the back and you have 2 weeks to prepare yourself for versus certain teams on certain maps. But every time we see them on the fresh one, they look unstoppable at it. That was the first time we ever saw them on Dense Search to Destroy. We also have another map in this Best of 5 series that we're actually now going to go to on that map number 4, which is Gridlock. That hard point they have yet to play too. So the unexpected continuously is catching a lot of these top teams off guard. But it's still 1-1. OpTic, no, they got their playground right in front of them on Scar Overload.
And that's the big thing you kind of talk about, like what went wrong for the Falcons in map number 1. It was just simply being able to keep track of Hoop, Shotzi, and Hercules. And that is going to be something that could potentially be a huge problem here on a Scar Overload. So there's something to be told, I think, kind of reflecting back when the Falcons were in their old roster. They played this map a ton. There was one stage of the year where they were by far one of the best Overload teams in the game. And who did we look to be that player? It would be Exton. He was the one who was trying to continually find routes to open up space. But the big difference now with Luka in the mix is Kismet has the freedom to join him. So that has to be the key. Can the SMGs get loose for the Falcons, or are they going to be in constant recovery mode knowing that OpTic's doing the same thing?
And I'm hoping that Falcons can make better decisions this go around from the last time that they played Scar Overload. There were so many times where they had the numbers for that mid-map control, but just overextending a little bit too much, accounting on your teammates to just lock down that mid-map, allow these 2v2 gunfights to go down when you had 4v2 advantages. You gotta make sure you're playing as a collective unit, because OpTic, they're gonna be all over. Hercules with that NPC, Shotzi and Hook had a stellar map number 1. You gotta expect it to go down the same way here at this respawn, map number 3. Here we go.
Let's get the energy back up here, Vegas. Let's lock back in. 1-1 map count. Will be OpTic spawning on the right, Falcons from the quote-unquote revert side on the left. Already, Hoop is trying to get loose. He's already found a bit of an opener, but Exit shuts that down. Long-range shots from Selly and puts pressure on towards Blue, and here we go. Like we talked about, it's not just Exit now. Kismet is someone that's trying to open up space.
So far, he is stuck. Actually thought that I had this all locked down on the left side, and now the Bulldog is already getting loose. Barking loud, looking for the final kill. Has him weak, also has his teammates here to assist him. Potentially the first score is gonna instantly go down here for the Falcons. Too much slain, but the goal line stop comes in.
Oh, who's gonna find one more? Oh my goodness, it's just not the can they find Exton? Are you kidding me? There's no possible way that Hook has done that. And now keep an eye on the other side of the map. The Falcons are scrambling. They need to get back because there's a possible counter cap, but moment of pause. 4v2 starts to develop.
Oh my goodness.
And the little visual bait and switch gives OpTic the opening score. Unreal.
That is extremely demoralizing if you are the Falcons, because it was a 1v4. All you had to do was get past the noob. Get going and turn into an instant counter for the green wall. Reset now over towards plane. Routes being hit. Can you stall enough time for Hercules to get himself into it? But 2 of his teammates fall. He still finds 1.
Surely it doesn't happen again.
Not again.
Able to find another Kismet. That double will come through, and Celium will cruise his way in for a 1-1 count. And I'll tell you, that's brilliant response from Riyadh. You could lose full so quickly after what just happened, but now everything's back to level.
Usually whenever we saw Falcons early into the season on this map finding success, it's through the slaying. Everyone sitting at positive besides Exton. Aluka on fire. Make it 5. Absolutely rips Hercules off the heady. And now the lead blocker is creating space. You just don't watch the top roof. Who gets the stop?
Bro, doing that with an M15 in the back spawn, unbelievable. Still, everything comes to a bit of a calm. Exton a little bit lost on the weapon. But is able to still find the final shot onto Shotzi. EMP in hand though for OpTic. Hotel control also starts to come through for the green wall.
Gotta get away from Falcons to make this first move. If anyone's gonna work on this pinch, you gotta choose wisely when you're gonna decide to commit on it. Because Falcons are banking on their attack uses to create an avenue to approach this B point. The nade goes down, but Aluka effective on the trade, and now you got Exton on the bench.
Yeah, really good timing here from Exton. He could have possibly been caught, but instead he finds himself too. There's a third trade that come out, so now Exton immediately turns into the lead blocker. We find ourselves at the bottom of the first. An opportunity here for Riyadh to take the lead. Extit's moving spawns around, but the EMP is still down. Aluka able to grab. Can you find a way to get into B? But no, not quite. Pressure for Riyadh starts to be bounced back.
They're just not comfortable right now. They're every single time fighting out of their spawn. This is a whole lot of pressure for the Falcons. Extra NPCs being whipped out on certain occasions. This is a moment that they can stabilize. Just gotta make sure you clear out your corners because players like Luka can potentially catch you off guard. But here comes Exit again on the pinch.
Ooh, able to clear the corner. Now it's just Exit. He will drop. This will be a freebie for OpTic. 2-1, gonna be the count. EMP resets back over the middle, and Hook has got a really solid pivot point to stop the rotation for the Falcons. Mercury's assisting with a couple of tags. And the Falcons are currently absolutely trapped in spawn. A couple of the trades do get free, and there's no one here for OpTic to grab the EMP, so if Shotzi falls, there may be a chance for the Falcons to set up an opportunity to score.
Every single time Aluka shoots, he is shooting straight nukes. This is unreal. What this guy's doing, he's living the dream at the highest level. 13-6, providing lifeline after lifeline for the Falcons. But you still got to sniff out where these last players are. He comes off the respawn thinking it's all going to be crystal clear. And now if you're the nuke, how long can you manage to stay alive?
Well, Exton is able to move back out of the play. And Kisman will still stay free for a moment over towards blue. Everything starts to stabilize, 50 seconds on the clock. Exton's still hanging on to the EMP. Pistol shots are decent, but not good enough to finish off shots. He's low health pool. Hercules will trade on to Cell. And Aluka will not be able to get in towards blue. Numbers for OpTic here as they try to regain the map.
The reset is about to go down as well through the middle of the map. So if you are Riyadh, you got to wrap back. You got to get over towards B. Mercules is gripping you with the NPC. But thankfully you got an Aluka. Another double gets the stop, and there's only 25 seconds remaining on this half.
Well, nice follow-up there on some damage that Luke is able to put together. Boom seen over towards mid-map, able to catch the EMP carrier, so Exit will have to pause on the route over towards his playing position. Luco now off the reset. Health from Sellium over towards red steps, but OpTic have some forward position. The only problem is they don't have the EMP. 4 seconds until we get to halftime. Kisman's still hanging. He's got a route. Can he finally get all the way there? Not quite, but the half will come to an end before extra time. It's 2-1.
And we instantly got to take a look back at the scuff play of the game. It happened in the first 35 seconds. This is a 1v4 technically here for the nuke. Comes off the respawn, hits the shots onto Aluka. And then every single player from the Falcons just go one by one. He locates 3, Mercules comes off the respawn and secures the final. If you would have came out the gates, out of the break, scoring that quickly, you would have put an immense amount of pressure on OpTic to quickly respond. But they get the stop, and they have the 1-score lead on the bad side, now going into good.
Here we go, off spawn into the second half. Very courteous applause from the fans here in Vegas. Now the chance starts to overwhelm the arena. Only first blood for Aluka. He's going to find a second towards top red. Good response. Brilliant shutdown. Exit also red, but the Falcons with a little bit of forward map position is OpTic are trying to do the same thing by generating space for Shotzi through field.
And now Shotzi just waiting for his teammates to draw the attention. First kill goes to Mercules. Shotzi going to commit, but Aluka isn't going to be caught off guard. That's 2 kills in favor of the Falcons. You can technically grab this and run right up the middle of the map, but Dashy the safety net, keeping it safe right dead center.
Yeah, it's really nice from Dashy, mostly the fact that there were a couple kills from Falcons that would have led to a potential scoring chance over towards A. Now Dashy's getting lost over towards blue, and he is not being found. Same can be said over Kismet, over towards the green side of the map. Dashy eventually will drop. Kismet is still alive playing forward. The EMP still firmly on the ground here in the middle of the map. OpTic are trying to gatekeep that over through mid-market, but now it's just down to who. Everyone else in the OpTic Texas green wall are just trying to play defense, and they're not able to find the kills that they need. Kismet able to find the follow-up. Now the EMP is grabbed. Cell trying to make a run. Aluka trying to be the lead blocker. Doesn't miss a bullet. Able to find the shots, and Selly will score to tie the game.
Now the reset over towards playing. Quickly trying to push forward if you are the Falcons, because OpTic have been able to manage off of the respawn with their slaying presence. Shotzi the lead blocker, this time with an AR in hand. Already clearing out the backside of fence. Just got to get past Kismet, and now you got to get past Exnid. He had so many multi-kills not too long ago when he played this overload, and he finds a massive one to get the stop.
That was just about as close as it could get. Off of a counter tap opportunity, Shotzzy gonna move up towards top three to see if he can stop the Falcons from moving forward. Actually, good movement, but Shotzzy's able to read it, find the kill. Kismet also shut down towards a TDMG on the ground at the plane, and that's an opportunity for OpTic to start winning back the middle of the map and possibly gain some possession.
That's going to be all 4 dead. Everyone off the respawn now for the Falcons. Hit your stunts, hit your nades. And Mercury's at 28 HP. Still finds the kill. Shotzzy slides it on in. OpTic have the lead again.
The exit kills are coming through for the Falcons. With 2:45 on the clock. OpTic are still putting the pressure over towards this motel side of the map. Who gets some trouble? Oh, is he? Big double from Hook. Trades Kismet. Not quite there. What a win from Hook. And now the EMP has a round to score. Shotzzy will get him over the threshold 4-2.
You usually expected the Nuke to do this with this MPC, but the M15 is also really pretty damn good in his hands. Finds kill after kill. And now OpTic have a 2-score lead. Tall ladder to climb now for the Falcons to potentially try to tie this one up. It all starts with this map control, but OpTic playing safe, playing spread.
Hook is a little bit out of the play. Be able to put the damage in and find a kill, though, onto Kismet. That will force the Falcons to have to play this largely just to the map and sells them to find 2. It's just on them. Shotzzy could provide the double, and yes, he will. Defense good for OpTic, and now possession as Dashy and Hook will wipe the floor. There will be a chance to score at A. Trophy system down. Exton will drop. Over the top, Sully looking to try to find the shots. He gets the first. Hercules is there for the score. 5-2. OpTic are cruising.
It's way too easy right now for OpTic. Every single time they find a sequence of kills, it's leading to all 4 dead. They know how much space they can guarantee to push up on the map. 1:30 left to go. Falcons need to start sprinting, need to start winning some gunfights that are extremely difficult to do so, because OpTic, just take your time.
Yep, play a little bit of defensive TDM around the top side of the map. But if you take your foot off the gas a little bit too much, there could be a chance your Hercules is in some trouble. But Kismet's not going to come back to try to find this kill. Instead, it's Hercules who finds him. Turns back over for the EMP carrier, and you just have to try to force this if you're Exton. There's no other way about it. Hercules is going to get the help from Dashy, and 60 seconds left, 3-score game. Shotzzy in your back line, looking good for the green wall.
And this is where Shotzzy can have fun. Influencing spawns a certain way. Playing for spawn kills if he can find them. Second onto Aluka. He's just so hard to keep track of. A thief in the night. He's on one side, now he's on the other. Shotzzy is all over the damn map.
One more kill will get score number 6, and Shotzzy will do it himself. 6-2. OpTic will put the car in cruise control as they will win map number 3. But I will tell you, the scoreboard is not reflective of how tight this overload was, but Riyadh, just a couple of missed opportunities, a couple of critical mistakes, and OpTic are able to punish in a big way.
It's Shotzzy, always getting away with murder. In a game mode like Overload, they give them that extra one to the tally. It's gonna end out 7-2. OpTic take the lead in the series.
I'll tell you what, though, Jay, that was 3/4 of an overload. That could not have been tighter. And I think that's another one of those you look at and say, if you're Riyadh, we were in that the entire way. But then at the very last moment, when you have to generate scores, things get a little bit too loose. That's where OpTic are able to take advantage of the map control that they have, the numbers that they have. They get lost, they get loose, and then they start running it down your throat. But for 75% of that map, 7-2 is not reflective of how close this was.
It's just a little mistakes coming back to bite Falcons again here on Star Overload. That sequence in the first 30 seconds to start the game, you cannot allow to happen. No. The new 1v4 scenario, sitting on a backside of blue. You send in your EMP carrier, thinking it's all going to be free and dandy. But then after that, once he falls, it's 1 by 1. That's what allows the nuke to ISO every single one of those gunfights, sold out all of that time. And as quick as the Falcons thought they were about to have immediate momentum into this overload, they got stripped away by the nuke.
I'll tell you, it's just another one of those moments, though, again, for OpTic. Once they start to get control, they start to build up that tempo, they are hard to slow down. And again, it's a byproduct of the scoreboard. At the end of the game, you have to do desperate things to try to find a way to get back into the game if you're Riyadh. and it's just not able to come fully back together. But at this moment, when we're looking at a 2-2 game, where honestly it could have been 3-1 the other direction, you're starting to think, hold on a second. But then this score is where things really start to change. You get Hook loose behind. He wins a couple of gunfights that are just undeniable. And from there on out, it's just all OpTic. If you shut down Hook there, a chance to recontrol the middle of the map, maybe it falls into a different score, but that was the turning point without question, is Hook's little mini spree in the backside of the blue.
Yeah, they just can't keep track of these guys at certain points of the game. When they desperately need to locate where the last guy is, communication probably not hitting the way you need it to. With the new MPC, M15, he was all over the map. Shots, he was doing the same exact thing. You even saw Dashy at certain points hitting flank routes. This is why OpTic are one of those top squads. Efficiency. Everyone can do everything on the map. Now they have one more map standing in front of them to make it the championship Sunday.
Be the case. Oh, they're coming for him, they say. Got to get through a gridlock hard point first. Those that are diehard OpTic fans know that throughout stage through, this map was added. They look great. Yeah, but it's been a while since you've seen them on the map. They played it once, I believe, at Major 4. They're still 5-1 over it on overall. The Falcons, not really much to show in terms of even with the old roster playing this map. So once again, kind of an opportunity to put the blindfold on and just come in with some unpredictability to see if you can surprise OpTic to get to 5.
Just think if you are the Falcons, though, what happened in that map, number 1, losing basically every single money hill. That can't be the case here on Gridlock. You know how impactful certain wave of kills can be. That P1 to P2 chain, hard block at the backside of 18, just giving yourself so much time. Potentially earn that time. Just continuously grow that lead. Just Falcons need to look at their experienced players right now. Coach Glacier giving them the wise words. JP handing out the fist bumps. Potentially the final map here at the Michelob Ultra Arena here on Saturday. OpTic trying to get their rematch. They're trying to get to the last dance versus FaZe again. Can Falcons continue to have their honeymoon, their Cinderella story, to go into this game 5?
For the Falcons, the problem with map 1 was keeping track of players. I think in a lot of ways, this map right here is all about keeping track of spawns. Don't allow someone to pop up unexpectedly. The other side of that, SMGs are going to be out in troves. Here we go. Break off attempt for the gridlock hard point. Must-win scenario for Falcons OpTic, looking to get this thing done cleanly and move on to start prepping up for a best of 9. And it's going to be OpTic in the hard point first.
Just look at the mini-map already for the Falcons. They're playing for Shotzzy already. They sent 2 players through the showers, and since they were giving up so much time initially, you give up this pressure, this now opens up the avenue for Shotzzy to hit it.
And he is just hitting routes. Route man gets paid, is what we once said. Exit, lots of damage out, looking for a little bit of assistance. Shotzzy somehow is still alive, not quite able to connect with the knife, but that's a lot of time and space, and more importantly, score for OpTic to soak up here on 1.
Now if you are Falcons, we have to make tough decisions. Only 15 seconds left, but we also need to start thinking about that new HP, because players like the new already hitting those long routes. They thinks this is all going to be safe. My teammates have so much free space to work from behind, but the new going to make the play.
Oh, they don't check the corners. You can see it. All the arrows from the Falcons are knowing that they're missing Hook. They don't find him at the bus stop. Team kill comes through. Makes life a little bit easier here for Hook, but Luke is able to come back over, find the trade, keep the Falcons still spawning close. 31 playing 15. Falcons at the time for now. Kids with the opening trade. Sell a little bit of trouble over the top of the Pax card, but how about that? Able to find this kill on the Shotzzy, and OpTic will be pushed back.
Have this on lockdown now. All of OpTic trying to sprint through the front side of the street. You have stuns, you have pain. Potentially use those to create an opening. But the contest is now going to be here. But for how long? Because Falcons think that they have the numbers. They just don't win the fights. OpTic get the break.
Yeah, the Luka is too far out of the play here, playing at market. Trying to do what he can here in the last 20, but he will be overwhelmed. Kismet was already on the way to try to assist him. He has to commit his life to the effort. Teammate to come through, gives Exton a chance at a 1v1. Nice shots on the Dashy, and that's important time right there. It's going to give Riyadh a chance not just to get this to a tie game, but they're going to have numbers on rotation.
Selim's early over towards New. Hercules able to find the first, but he should quickly fall to the hands of MC. Gonna give him the advantage, or at least turn it into a 2v2 off this rotation. Sachi gonna finesse. Stalling out time. Teammates and I here to assist, but it's a bloodbath in towards showers.
A lot of attacks are through. Shotzzy knows he's got Kismet in front of him on the well, but now all of a sudden, Riyadh come up off the spawn. Another team still comes out. Hercules and Dashy are still alive and well inside at the time. Spawn through mid-map to get shots, get a chance to play for a very aggressive route. Timing of this could be immaculate. He's waiting for the hit for the Falcons to come through first and foremost. Nades are landing. Shotzzy gonna make his move, able to save the play. Who follows her behind? Hercules off the regen will fall, but Exit is traded and OpTic are perfect on the hill.
Yeah, but the spawns do flip. So now if you are Falcons, you're still gonna commit because you don't want to give up at least 30 seconds of junk time. This is gonna catch OpTic off guard. 2 kills go their way. Only 1 player left standing, and Aluka cleans up the rest. You have the spawns that you want. You have the rotation that you want. We just can't die off the roto because you can potentially spawn out because OpTic are applying pressure.
Actually able to find one that keeps OpTic away from that rotation through small. Selling him holding the position, but there's 2 people in here to protect us on the rotation. Spawns are out right now for Riyadh, even though the hard point is open. Numbers for OpTic starting to develop as Aluka finds 2 on the old time, leaving Exit by himself. Aluka can't get there to rotate. Exit now by himself. 2 members to deal with at the front door. Doesn't like the look of that, so he backs up into Mercury, who's waiting for him. And he can find more from topside stairs. OpTic in a position of control here.
Ever since Mercury started running this NPC, OpTic are just always going to be in your face. You know, Sun Gaib, 5 in a row. Trying to continue to add to the tally. Close to a hellstorm. You know that you don't have the backbone. They are banking on this tight setup, and Falcons don't have a way in.
Nah, there's just no routes available. They're still so worried about Hercules, and yeah, you gotta be. 6 in a row, working closer and closer towards a hellstorm, and OpTic have been absolutely casual here inside the 4th hardpoint. Hercules does get shut down, though. Dashy, aggressive route on the way back will confirm the scrap time unless Exit decides to hit, but no. Instead, it's going to be chalk and rotate, and Riyadh Falcons are going to be down big heading into our 2nd set.
Now Dashy working the OE gets the better of Aluka. Doesn't matter what weapon this guy has, he's straight beamer when he's taking shots. An 80-point difference. Falcons trying to stay alive in this game, and that's a good sequence. All 4 dead, stabilizing the spawns. Look at how far pushed up Exit already is.
Yeah, you need to have 1 hill to at least go your way. We didn't get it at all at Hacienda. They kept it mixing, they kept it scrappy. Same could be returned here. But you have to put something together if you're the Falcons. You cannot continually play these 30-30, 40-20 splits. And so far, the kills are continuing to allow Riyadh to fight for this P1 time. OpTic will break their way back into the contest. Exit trying to get himself into a 1v2, but he will drop, and now the numbers for OpTic start to lead through the rotation.
This is still a good time to play for if you are OpTic. Again, you have players like the Nuke doing the dirty work, getting the rotation early on over towards the P2, but this time he gets sniffed out. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Falcons make their adjustments. This was their money hill last go around, but this time they got trophy systems to make it even better.
Yeah, you need a 40+ here if you're Riyadh. Lots of focus on the flank. Dashy will be the one putting on the pressure from the front. Exit is all about timing here, playing at fire. Aluka back in the market as he was before. Helping back over to the hard pump, and the first 2 kills come through. Kismet has to get active over from the backside of Cop Car, and now he's by himself, completely stuck, completely overwhelmed, and OpTic with a clean break.
Yeah, Exit's still playing for those long rounds. He's thinking shots here. Who? Someone's got to be working through showers, and he completely leaves his team out to dry. OpTic disregard him. They get the break, they flip the spawns, and now Falcons forced to break in through the front. You're not finding effective trades, and now OpTic, you blink, they're up by 100.
And you still haven't, with these kills from Aluka, been able to do any damage onto the hard point. And it's a blowout. It's an absolute runaway right now for OpTic. It's do or die time for Riyadh.
Green wall starting to get loud. They can feel it. They only need 60 more seconds to make it to Championship Sunday. Don't win the rotation over towards New. Too early on, trying to contest from the backside of Courtyard. But New can't get the better of Celium. So at least if you are Falcons, you are doing just enough to still keep yourself in it.
And we need to get these kills right here through Riyadh. You cannot allow this natural pinch to develop, and they will push things out through small. Find a couple of kills and have a read that the last members for OpTic are from the front. But Hooks again, winning gunfights he has no business winning. 3 in a row. Now OpTic have the numbers as they return over towards 3. Celium finally gets a couple of shutdown stabs, and the last one to find, and it's Celium putting together 3 in a row.
The reason why OpTic have this lead is because this P3 to P4 chain. Falcons looking this time around for it to go their way. Celium with the NPC, he's been outstanding so far all throughout this weekend. Another 3 in the feed. The entire time, Exit is yet to move. He's hard blocking those spawns, bro. They're cutting that lead little by little.
I know it's a moment, but it's like you got Celium pelting Shotzi through the wall, and you still expect that he's out of there like a ghost. Now he's got pressure on rotation. Luka, a big opener win. Exton following up behind that is only able to get one, but an aid will take care of Mercury. Spawn control still a little bit in question, as Shotzi has still not been found since that play at Showers. Now he's getting active. Damage on over towards Cell. He's trying to fight for his life. It's not going to work. The break from the front simultaneously coming through, and OpTic are well firmly in control.
Shotzi's just getting away with murder, my friend. This cannot continue to happen. You know he's going to be making those plays. You know he's going to be playing for spawns. And on the opposite side, he's got his duo hitting shots he's not supposed to. OpTic with the back, in towards the time. Keep on cutting down this score and getting closer and closer to the finish line.
Bashy now the next one into the hard point. Contest starting to come through. Shotzi on 5 in a row. How does he make this continually happen? Oh, now trophy system down OpTic. Putting the pressure through and over to the underpass. Shotzi the first one up, stunned up. Exton also pushed back as Luka gets first blood. Kismet trying to play off the old time from the flank. Will clear the hard point, and Riyadh will stay alive a little while longer.
Another 4 dead. Now can Falcons shut down this first wave from OpTic? There's no Hellstorms that are going to be into play because you were able to shut down all of those streaks. When you have this much of a lead, you're going to take your time on these rounds. Look at the nuke going all the way through the backside of Courtyard. Exton is thinking that's going to be a freebie. And now the trade fight's going down. OpTic have the advantage.
Yeah, you just have no one in position to stop this score from being tallied up if you're Riyadh. Exton able to get some control over towards Hole. Dashby trying to respond. Has to go to the pistol, and he somehow still wins that. Hook off the pinch. Not quite able to get things going. Last 5 seconds, though, potentially here is Riyadh have to break from the front. Dashby back to the pistol again. Shotzi takes down his teammate, but he also possibly wins the game as Hook finishes off the last shot. Zellium not going to get there. A chance for OpTic to go back to back to back.
Just a different level of opponent. On that other side of the main stage for the Falcons. They were able to take down the likes of FaZe. They were able to take down the likes of Paris. It just falls short to both the squads now sitting in the grand final. OpTic get the win, but Falcons are the heroes of the weekend for me.
I agree.
A rookie on 2 weeks' notice comes in and solidifies his spot, guaranteed for next season. You get the Falcons their best placing. You get fans behind them. You get people to start believing in the team. But it's the green wall prevailing again. Submachine guns, but just on a different level that series.
Legitimately, yes. That's 100% the case. And I think we just need to take a moment here and give the flowers to this Falcons team.
No doubt.
I mean, and just to kind of use the numbers as a support system to how immediate this change has been, they're the #1 breaking team on the weekend. That just goes to show with a little bit more time, if they can figure out what they need to prioritize on rotation, how do we get our setups going, maybe there's a chance right there. But in 2 hard points against one of the best teams in the game, they're keeping things mixy and scrappy, but at the end of the day, at this level, at this stage of the game, you have to be able to win rotations and win setups if you want to beat teams like OpTic in hardpoint.
It's just hard, man, when you can't find these guys. Breakoffs for Falcons are like, all right, we're playing for Shotzi. We're not going to play for initial time. And if Shotzi's not there when you want him to be, you turn your head left, and all of a sudden now he's already behind you. OpTic just too efficient in their gameplay. No one goes above and beyond again. It's just everyone providing their 25%. They shake that loss off versus FaZe. Now they make it to the last dance.
Unreal. A FaZe OpTic grand final. OpTic a chance to do the unprecedented in 3P.
Crazy, man.
That's unbelievable. I mean, we're sitting here talking for, what, 5, 6 years about no one's going to be able to get to 4 rings. Shots is about to do it by way of winning 3 in a row, potentially. Unreal stuff as you look back over the game chart. And again, it's just kind of the same story. 40-20s, 40-20s, 40-20s. One good moment from 2 to 3 for Falcons, and you just can't win a hard point versus OpTic in one good moment.
Yeah, it's just that sequence.
Yeah.
From the initial P2 going into the P3, that's when OpTic starts to pull away. And when you give OpTic the leader's advantage by almost 90 points, that's when those SMGs have so much fun. All right, cool. ARs are putting down shots. All right, you're going to take the bait. Now I'm going to come behind you. Just too good from the green wall. Falcons get a top 3. They win the hearts of a lot of people in the stands. At the top, they could get the last lap.
Oh, I think we were all kind of maybe selfishly rooting for that raid to come through. Not the case. Green Wall survive into Sunday, and it's Shotzi with Guy Blaze on the main stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, show some love to your back-to-back world champions, OpTic Texas, going to Championship Sunday to defend their title. Shotzi, 5 out of 5 grand finals in this season. Talk to me about how does it feel to make it back to a Champ Sunday to defend your title?
It feels good, man. Honestly grateful. Not a lot of teams can say they've made, every single grand final every year. So just shout out my team, man, honestly. My team, thank you.
As you can hear, the whole venue wants to watch you guys make history. Let's talk about the last few hours of you guys being on this main stage, man, because you guys came off a heartbreaking map number 5 against FaZe to come into the series. What were you guys talking about after that to get here with Riyadh?
Just went back to the drawing board, didn't really overthink it. I mean, we know that we're going to make grand finals regardless, whatever, winners, losers. So, I can't wait to, have the opportunity to make history tomorrow.
I know you want to make history. You want to get that rematch as well. Now here against the Falcons, it's a 3-1 victory. After that second map in the S&D, you really kind of took over. You took over in the overload. You was out there in the hard points. Talk to me about, we was up here on this main stage talking about Mercules and Dashies as them being in the MVP running, but we watched your ARs turn up all day. Talk to me about how they opened up doors for you and Hoop to really run the map and run the show on the stage today.
I mean, dude, I literally have people that don't miss, and my job is kind of easy. I just make it easier for them. They make it easier for me. My teammates are just fucking amazing, honestly. So, shout out my teammates.
The best in the world on his squad as they're going to be defending their championship tomorrow. And you talk about how your teammates makes these matches so easy for you. But my God, the fans in this building, the fans at home, how do they make it easy for you guys, man?
You guys are unreal. Literally unreal. I love you guys so much. Shout out to Green Wall. Best fan days ever. Love you guys, man.
You heard it here, man. He loves you guys out there, okay? I'm about to wrap this one up because tomorrow is going to be a glorious day. It's OpTic versus FaZe on the main stage, a tale that we have watched so many years in Call of Duty, and it's going to be a special matchup. What do you want to tell to the Call of Duty fans out there, no matter who they're cheering for, as they tune in here on the Championship Sunday to watch some amazing Call of Duty?
It's going to be a good one. Best way to put it.
It's going to be a good one, everybody, and you don't want to miss it. Cheer one more time for OpTic Texas as they will be in the championship finals tomorrow.
You have to appreciate greatness when you see it. This is 6 CDL Grand Finals in a row, 2 of them being World Championships, and they are already back-to-back World Champions. Honestly, an incredible run for the Falcons. If you're going to lose to a team, it might as well be a juggernaut. Nameless, you had faith in the Falcons for a while. What did you see from OpTic, though, in this match?
Yeah, the SMG duo got going. And that man on that stage, I can't believe what we're going to watch tomorrow. Going for a 4th ring would be absolutely insane. Uncharted territory for a Call of Duty player. And yeah, Shotzi and Hook, those two did not have a great performance against FaZe. But right there, against the Falcons, pop takeover.
Attach, you are that young guy. We now saw Aluka and Xnid kind of take on that role. They have a big tournament a few weeks away, but they are now done for the CDL season. Final thoughts on the Falcons as we say goodbye to our 3rd place team.
Oh, I mean, we all love the Falcons. They were such an easy team to root for. I think we're so excited to watch Xnid and Aluka. Their careers grow and they have them flourish. They proved themselves at COD Champs on the biggest stage. Everyone was doubting them, from the players, their old teammates, their new team, or not their new teammates, the community. Everyone was just roasting them, and they showed that they belong here. They're going to be in the CDL for a long time, and hopefully can win some championships for their home countries.
We've got a lot more games coming tomorrow, but Ali, how do you feel knowing that Nameless and I cannot be Player X champions now that Celium has been removed from the competition.
That's heartbreaking. I'm heartbroken for you guys because, I mean, I'm a big MC fan. Listen, he was doing what he needed to do on that main stage. I can't wait to see what Riyadh is able to pull out when we go back to EWC in a couple of weeks. But, man, OpTic Texas is looking impossible to go through right now. Those are my ARs, by the way.
I go from second to fourth. Kremp gone. Celium gone. Joe Deceives gone.
I need a generational from Abuza.
Simp can double up for me, but Dashi Abuza in the mix as well. It is going to be a crazy Sunday. Ali, all vibes here.
All vibes. 600-point lead's tough, but you know what? You, I think, have Abuza as yours.
I need a generational out of Abuza.
He's been playing crazy this weekend. He might.
We got to get out of this Vegas venue. She's turning into Lindsay Lohan. You hear that voice? Let's take a look here at our bracket attached. What have you seen?
I've seen the two best teams in Black Ops 7 meeting in the grand finals. This will be an absolute banger. COD history will be made tomorrow. Will Shotzi get his fourth? Will Simp get his third? Oh my God. Can OpTic go back to back to back?
Yeah,
This is insane. This is a potential dynasty in the making. If OpTic wins the finals tomorrow and could somehow go on to an EWC, this might be the best season in CDL history.
Yeah, it might be the best team ever as well.
Final question that I want to leave everybody, because I'm sure we're going to have lots of time to discuss this match tomorrow. Would you rather see Shotzi become the first player to win 4 rings or for Simp to get his third and join a more epic group?
Man, I mean, that's a tough. Both of them would be incredibly special. Like, I hate to sit on the fence with that one, but they both would just be a W, honestly.
You don't have to answer it now. Think about it over the night. For now, get pumped up with this video and share it on Twitter to all of your friends who had to leave the venue because security is kicking us out. We'll see you tomorrow.
Vegas training though, Traza closes the game, goes on an incredible streak in FaZe or into the grand final.
OpTic trying to get their rematch. It's trying to get to the last dance versus FaZe again.
Are you kidding me? There's no way that Hook has done that.
We're coming for you, FaZe. We're coming for you.
I was born with the story. I was born for the glory. Through the heat and the rain, can't deny and ignore me. I'm bred for commitment, signed up for a mission. Yeah, it comes with the price. It's all in the description. My time has arrived. I can't hesitate. Nothing is in my way. Knocking down barricades. On a different type of time. Dreams are never late. From the jump, I'm the person who can never break.
Nice! Come the on! Come the on!
I've been working after hours. Seize the moment, I get back up all the coward. Do it another game. Like I'm Paul at Howard. You can
Nice!
I can be devoured. All I think is win. I can't watch it in 2020 through the lens. When I fell off, I always had to try again.
Again, OpTic going deep.
Bro, this is
absurd. They get 3, 2v2. Sidney with
No, he did finesse, and there is nobody better than this.
Yes! Yes!
17.
And 17. 41.
He's on an
What the we swear on.
All right, well, we're going to do it the hard way. Nice, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Benji, let's go. Let's go, Lamar. Let's go, Lamar. Come on.
They keep speaking on the name like I ain't changed the game. So I had to come through, I had to save the day. We always moving forward and it's at a steady pace. If we go to war, I'ma feel just like a major pain. Like a major pain. Feel just like a major pain. Like a major pain. Feel just like a major pain. I've been through hell and back, I wouldn't change a thing. They tried to hold me down, so I went and spread my wings. Devoted to my craft, cause it's my everything. So if I want it, I'ma get it, that's by any means. We ain't even gotta talk, yeah, just get into it. Started music as a kid, now we started movements. You can't master grind, so tell me who you think you fooling. This passion flowing through my veins, I can never lose it. Cause they keep speaking on the name like I ain't changed the game. So I had to come through, I had to save the day. We always moving forward and it's at a steady pace. If we go to war, I'ma feel just like a major pain. Like a major pain. Feel just like a major pain. Like a major pain. Feel just like a major pain.
Yeah. Listen. They got me cornered, I'm feeling trapped. Where can I go when I'm feeling?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome everybody back to another just why do I exist type of map. We're beating on the first try though. Listen. We've done a lot of practice on tower maps, right? We've played a lot of tower maps. We've improved on a lot of tower maps, and this is just yet another step in these stepping stones. Also, this is the most cursed name ever. Like, why? Anyway, just another stepping stone on the path to beating the hardest tower zombies maps of all time. This is just another easy step. We're gonna beat this first try, no problem. If I don't beat it first try, I might backflip out of that window right there, but we're gonna be fine, okay? We're gonna be absolutely great. It's gonna be fine. What is this? Hello? We got a part. Going back to the Project 420, after what? Sometimes we have to return. Okay, we found some cash. All right, enjoy it. Get to the tippy top. Found some cash, buy some revive. Easy peasy. Oh my God, these zombie models are actually cursed. All right, we have 1,500 for the debris. Wait, what are these zombie models, bro? Wait, 750 for this. Let's go ahead and open the door. Wait, this is gonna be, okay. Find the crystal and escape from here. Okay, we got the shield part. We've got a Bowie knife there. Another crystal. Can we get in there or anything? Also, this is just such a cursed, like, concept for a map. It's insane. Max ammo. Okay, so the little inventory things are max ammos. Okay, let's turn on the power. Oh God, the power lag is always so real. How's it going, chat? How's everybody feeling? It's only one map instead of 8. Yes, exactly. So it should be absolutely
absolutely the easiest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Found some cash. We almost have enough for Jug. Wait, what is this? Nuka-Cola. Wait, isn't that from Fallout or something? Let's go ahead and get some Jug. There we go. Okay, let's buy Jug. Put on your red headset. The white one's throwing me off. I'm trying out different headsets right now, man. I want to see what I actually like enjoy using. And like, so this is actually my like DJ headset that what is this? Okay. Good to know. All right, so that's the, what's it called? So we have 1,500 for this door. Got cash there. Got a shotgun here. Oh, another shield part. Okay, so now we just need a buildable table. The zombies start to groan with the PhD. PhD. I run twice a day. First to run out, and then I run to, okay. It's one of those maps, chat. It's one of the classic Call of Duty. Oh, is this where the tower actually starts here? Seems like it. Oh my god, it has the cursed stairs on this map. Wait, this is actually not good at all. It has the incredibly cursed stairs. Where you just get randomly blocked for no reason. Okay. I'm gonna really need to get a better gun than this. PhD, let's go ahead and buy PhD. Can never hurt. Can we play the zombie arcade? No, we can't. Where do we build the shield though? Activate the trap. We don't need that. This map is so cursed. Yeah, is the non-red headset weird? I don't know, I think I'd be looking kind of cute, chat. What do you think? Can I jump off here? Okay. Oh, here's a good gun. Love that. Love that. So what actually goes on? Like what? 5K. Tokimon. Gotta smoke it, dude. This is yeah. Literally POV. I'm getting demonetized the stream again. What else is new, huh? What else is new? Yeah, the map description said this is.
Explosion first. Question.
Wait, I remember this. Wait, this is the death machine from that one map. It's literally Ziggs. It's literally Ziggs from League of Legends. Wait, that's actually kind of sick. I'm making sure I didn't miss a buildable shield area right here. What is that, bro? That's the death machine for this map. No Raz spawner points? What does that mean? No Raz spawner points. What does that mean? What is this?
Dennis, how are you?
Well, it's a very large question. I'm doing much better. I'm on room air about 15 hours a day, breathing great, speaking better. In that regard, it's good news. Paralysis is another question, but we're working on that too with electrical stuff.
Thank God. Well, we'll talk about this later, but I'm starting to believe more and more in miracles and some sort of divine intervention. I am so glad that you're able to jump on to these conversations with us every week because there's so much that is happening in the world right now, and we just need your help.
That's right. That's right. I wish my voice were out there. That's a big part of my regret about what happened.
Yeah.
Because Charlie was silenced. Jordan Peterson is effectively silenced right now. And I'm somewhat silenced. It makes you believe in the devil.
Yeah. You know, Dennis, we lost another friend, Lindsey Graham, who was a great patriot, an incredible person. This past weekend, he passed away suddenly. I was curious, what are your remarks on this horrible loss?
It's a horrible loss. That's exactly what you said. I don't believe anybody engineered it. And it's a tragedy. His father died at approximately the same age from some heart ailment. It might be congenital. And it's a tragedy. He loved the country and he loved American strength. I'll tell you when he won me over. When he lost his cool with regard to how Brett Kavanaugh was treated. And he was right to do that, ruining a man and his wife's life for no good reason. And I saw in him a hatred of evil. And it's been my long time belief that people on the left do not hate evil. They hate people who hate evil. That we're seeing that right now. Whether it's Hamas, they don't hate Hamas. They hate Israel for fighting Hamas. And they didn't hate communism. They hated anti-communists. And we're seeing it again. Lindsey Graham is a loss.
You mentioned that there are these bizarre conspiracy theories on X and all over social media that Lindsey Graham was murdered. I want us to spend a minute talking about conspiracy theories because there seems to be this addiction where podcasters and social media influencers, they feel like they have to be the first to announce that they've discovered some sort of conspiracy theory, right? Immediately they take to X, immediately they make something up. Of course, there's never a consequence for diverting people's attention from what is true. There's never a consequence for spreading conspiracy theories, except society suffers a grave consequence when we're constantly living in this chaotic conspiracy theory land.
Look, there are sometimes conspiracies, but generally speaking, what you see is what you get. Charlie Kirk, he was murdered by Tyler Robinson. The evidence is overwhelming. I don't know why the judge postponed till September a decision on whether or not it could even go to trial. And yet, Candace Owens said that the Israelis blew up his microphone. I mean, and there are people who believe that. It's not a good trend. What the conspiracy theorists do is they don't allow for tragedy. There are no tragedies. There's only conspiracy.
Let's talk a little bit about Iran and Turkey, going to the Middle East. President Trump, I think, was right with his first instinct about the Iranians. I know that there are people within the administration that were thinking that an MOU or a business deal with the Iranians would actually bear fruit. Looks like Secretary Rubio was correct this entire time. You can't really negotiate with the Iranians. They're terrorists. They don't really approach deals like business deals. What is your way of interpreting this entire exchange of an MOU with the Iranians and now the Iranians proving out to be what many who actually have experience in the Middle East realized would probably happen?
What I've come to realize in the course of my lifetime is that a great segment of people living in a decent culture, namely Western civilization, do not understand evil. They think that everybody is sort of like them. I'll never forget when I came home when I was 21 years old. I came home from 4 weeks in the Soviet Union. And I went around speaking, and I spoke at a church about the Soviet Union. And a woman stood up and said she was a member of a Soviet American women's group. And they're just like us. They're just like us. That is such a common phrase among naive Westerners. They're just like us. But they're not just like us. That's the point. They live in a different value sphere. Iran's greatest aim is to destroy the West, beginning with annihilating Israel. That is all they live for. They don't live to make a good Iran. They couldn't care less if their people suffer. They slaughtered 40,000 of them, peaceful demonstrators, and they just machine gunned them 40,000. Some of them were still living when they were put in body bags and buried alive. These are monsters. And I've come to realize that people in the West are so naive. And, going back, the visiting of Hitler, oh, peace in our time, the British Prime Minister, oh, Hitler wants what we want. He just wants things that are good for the Germans. No, he didn't. He lived to destroy other civilizations, beginning as usual with the Jews. This is a very big problem that people do not understand evil. It's huge. And that could bring the downfall of Western civilization. You can't make an MOU with the Iranian leaders. They laugh at the idea. It's just a delaying tactic.
Dennis, do you think the attempt for an MOU, an agreement with the Iranian, was something that was worth trying, or do you think it's naive and shows lack of experience? Do you think we lost time and momentum by pushing for an MOU right after the bombings, or is it just part of what needed to happen in order for people to wake up?
Both of your answers are possible. I don't know. Yeah, we lost time, but I don't. What it did was cause the first degree of friction between Netanyahu and the president. That was the downside of it, because Netanyahu understands evil. Virtually every Israeli does. Not every Israeli. There are many naive Israelis too, although not anymore. Not after October 7th. This is a huge, huge problem to think we're all the same. I hear that stupid idea all the time. Well, they love their children and we love our children. Well, Nazis love their children. Communists love their children. What does that prove? Nothing. Nothing. Elephants love their children. What does that prove? It's an instinct, not a value system.
Well, sadly, those who are running Iran right now hate the West more than they love their children. I think they've proven that with their behaviors.
That's correct. That is exactly right.
What are your thoughts about
Yeah.
President Trump meeting with folks in Turkey and possibly selling them an F-35? Do you trust Erdogan?
This is a very important point. There's naivete with regard to Erdogan. Erdogan is an Islamist. Okay, he's not Western. Turkey got into NATO when it was a secular Western democracy. As from 1922, when Ataturk utterly changed the country, and he wanted people to be a Western democracy, and he did it. And then ultimately Erdogan came to office, and he wants to reinstate the Ottoman Empire. It's Armenians should be demonstrating in the streets. They didn't fare very well under the Ottoman Empire. I'm not sure any non-Muslims did. And that's what Erdogan stands for. But the president likes him. And he goes very much on his instincts. whether he likes somebody. I'm sure Erdogan charmed him. But giving him or selling him F-35s, that's a big deal.
Well, Dennis, I want to talk to you about the teachers' unions. Their last two resolutions, whether the NEA, the National Educators Association, which has 3 million teacher members, and the AFT, which is another one of the largest teachers' unions in America, both of them are going after President Trump. The NEA just voted in their agenda to spend $5.2 million on impeaching President Trump. The AFT just resolved that they want to advocate for a 50% in military spending reduction. They want to weaken our military. Why would the teachers' unions want to weaken America's military? It just sounds bonkers.
Why would anybody on the left want to? That's what they stand for. I don't know what makes them tick. That they don't understand that there's a good versus evil issue here. So what they do is they paint America as evil. Oh, what are you talking about? The adversaries are evil. That's why Tucker Carlson tells you how wonderful the Moscow subways are and how safe he felt in Moscow as opposed to some certain American cities. What they're doing is they're minimizing the evil of evil and maximizing the depiction of evil among the good, namely America. It's a very, very bad thing. And that's why we need moral clarity. That's why I'm happy you're doing this with me.
It just makes no sense. As we talk about what is happening in the world right now, Dennis, we talk about how other countries are voting for stronger leaders. Other countries are realizing that actually strength and security and military security is worth investing in. We're having countries in the West that are actually depleting their military might, that are actually teaching their kids that they should be less strong. Are we just cowering in the face of evil when we're teaching our children that they should advocate for military reduction, that we should advocate against strong leadership? What are we doing here?
We have a crisis in our education system. If that's what they're doing, imagine what they're teaching kids in classes. You know, everybody's the same and you got to love everybody. The naivete, it's willful naivete. If you're naive at 15, it's excusable. If you're naive after 25, you have desired to be naive. Because it's very hard to confront evil. It's much easier to confront good. Right? And that's what they do. That's what they stand for.
You know, it reminds me this question that people often ask me. They say, well, Marissa, if we got more people to be aware of what's happening in America's schools, then we would be able to win this. And my reaction has been, I don't think that people are unaware of the evil. I actually think there are a lot of people who are aware of what's happening. I think they're worried about it, but they're not really doing much about it. They're thinking that somebody else is going to be doing the fighting for them, or somebody who is more articulate is actually going to go out there and speak against what it is that they know is happening. Somebody else is going to run for the school board. Somebody else is going to hop on the radio and speak. Somebody else is going to write an article. Somebody else is going to sit in Charlie Kirk's chair. Somebody else is going to do it. They're all waiting on somebody else to do it. And as we talk about divine intervention, is it possible that God is actually telling us that we can't keep relying on somebody else to do better or to be better than us at advocating for our own country, for our own future, for our own children? Is it possible that as we started the segment and you mentioned that people have been sidelined, is it possible that it's a message from God that we can't rely on others to do the fighting for us, that we can't hope that somebody else who is more articulate, you're more articulate than I am, and here I am, right? And now I am forced to do some of the work that I never thought I would be able to do or would have to do.
All right. if the lesson learned is you can't rely on a few people to bail us out, and, you know, the idea that the other guy will do it, you're the other guy. So, yes, I'm not sure that that's God's message. That's certainly a message God would give. Absolutely, there's no question about it. There's a law in the Old Testament and in the Torah: do not stand by the blood of your neighbor. You can't do nothing. It's a sin to do nothing. But doing nothing is very tempting.
Yes, it's very tempting. There are many, many parents who know that the teachers' unions, that the education industrial complex is attacking our children, that it's at the very least is not good for our children, but they're hoping that somebody else is going to do something. You know, it does remind me, as I was reflecting on your Torah study from this past weekend, which is very exciting that you got to preach Torah this past weekend to your minion. And it's probably somewhat kismet, at least I believe, that the weekend that you actually came back to preach Torah was the same portion that you read during your bar mitzvah. So also possibly kismet, but maybe you can share this Torah portion with you and your teaching. And I may want to negotiate with you on the conclusion that you had from your Torah portion.
Right. Okay. So in this portion, there is a statement by God that when the Israelites enter Israel, they are to have a lottery by lots. It's what it says: by lots, you will determine where each tribe lives. That way, God does not show any favoritism. That's how I read it. Now, if it's going to be by lots, then it's a matter of luck whether you get a better place in Israel or not. And all I was saying is, I believe there's luck in life. And a family hit by a drunk driver and killed, it was their bad luck. I don't think it was karma. I don't think they deserved it. And I don't think God willed it. So what else is left? Luck. But I said over and over, all those who believe that it was God's will, I have no desire whatsoever to talk them out of it. In fact, I sort of envy them because it gives the tragedy a greater meaning than, oh, well, it's just bad luck. I don't believe that God forced me to injure myself this way. I think that God allowed the lack of friction between a wet foot and a wooden floor to operate the way it operates. Now, it may very well be that God did intervene in having my wife actually there when I fell. She missed catching me by a few seconds, but she was never up there when at that time of the morning. She was always preparing breakfast for me downstairs in the kitchen or in the garage even, where she would get supplies. So maybe God put my wife there. She literally saved my life, as did a few other people in the course of my journey here. So I don't know, but I do believe that God allows luck to play a role, like with the family killed by the drunk driver. And none of us knows. I may be right, and those who believe God is behind it all may be right. But it's so hard for me to love a God who would will that a family be killed by a drunk driver. It's hard for me to believe that a good God does such things. So what's my choice?
Do you think it's possible, Dennis, that a good God understands something bigger than what we can understand, and therefore maybe sometimes God uses people in a way that hurts at a moment in time? It hurts the human, but ultimately, because he sees a bigger picture, he sees it as maybe part of the journey of what needs to happen. Do you believe that God does um, have some divine intervention in certain people's lives, or maybe in all people's lives, and we just don't understand it because we see it in such a finite, small picture?
That's very possible. Absolutely.
Like Abraham,
Yeah.
for example, from the Bible, right?
Yeah.
God used a person in order to bring the concept of monotheism to the world. Like Moses, for example, God used just a regular flawed person to bring the Torah to humanity. I'm sure many Christians would argue that God used Jesus to bring his teachings of morality to the world. Is it possible that God continued beyond biblical times and continues beyond biblical times in using President Trump and sparing his life? Is it possible that God used Charlie Kirk in order to bring a spiritual awakening and a sifting of good versus evil? I think that the sifting between good versus evil has never been clearer to many of us since the murder of Charlie Kirk. There's just been this incredible uh, in some ways negative, but in some ways positive of a sifting of who who fights for good and who fights for evil. Is it possible that God does use people in a way that we can only understand later on, but we can't understand in this moment in time? Maybe you included, Dennis.
Well, now you know why I so often said on my radio show and in speeches, what keeps me sane is a belief in the afterlife. Because somehow or other, things will be clarified in an afterlife. But I can only deal with what I know in this life. Everything you said is possible. I've never said it was not possible. I just have accepted the fact that God allows gravity to paralyze people who stupidly step on polished wooden floors without a towel underneath.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly a lesson in that we just sometimes we go about our daily lives and we're not as careful as we should be. These things that we do every single day seem to be less dangerous, but it's oftentimes the things that we do every single day that actually could put us in danger because we're not that careful.
That's certainly true. And also, I have had so many incredible events in my life allowing me the privilege of being influential for good. I hope I hope that's true. Uh, Maybe God did intervene a lot in my life, and I can't be angry at him for not intervening in this case. We don't know. What we do know is that, as God says in Deuteronomy, I have put before you this day life and good, and death and evil. Choose life. Hamas chooses death. They choose it. They're a death cult. And Douglas Murray has written a whole book on that, the death cults that celebrate death, but we celebrate life. So I don't I don't spend a lot of time anymore trying to figure out, as you put it, stuff we can't know. And that's the way it is. We have to do whatever we do in this life to promote good and fight evil. to say that Erica Kirk was in some way involved in the cover-up or murder of her husband is about as evil as it gets. And so often in both the Old and New Testaments, we are adjured to take care of the widow and the orphan. And this is an oppression of a widow that I've never seen in my life.
It truly is amazing how things that should be so obvious to people, what is good and what is evil. It is amazing to me how chaotic things have become, how unclear things are to people. It's shocking. The support of a widow, the support of innocent civilians who are attacked by terrorists, the attack that we're seeing even on America and its right to defend itself against its adversaries. The things that should be so common seem to be so uncommon. It's more common to find uncommon sense than common sense.
That is what has actually happened. But it's not merely an issue of common sense. It's an issue of what I said earlier. Those who don't fight evil fight those who do fight evil. The best example is Israel. Israel is a decent country. 20% of Israel are Arab Muslims. How come they haven't risen up in revolt? Because they know that they're the freest Arabs in the entire Middle East. They might be the freest Muslims in the world, for all I know. Did you see the Moroccans rioting after Morocco lost in the World Cup? I mean, it's unbelievable. In Britain, they were rioting in the UK.
Well, you've been warning about this for years, saying that if you allow people who don't want to live by Western civilization ideals, if you allow them to keep coming into your country, you're going to end up disappearing your country. You're not going to recognize your country. And that is what has happened in much of Europe. And sadly, it may happen here in the United States if we don't start defending ourselves.
I warned so many years ago, as you know, if you bring in people, you also bring in their values. You're not importing bodies, you're importing values. What if their values are the antithesis of your country's values? And now they're learning this. Denmark is leading the way, by the way, in not allowing almost any Muslims into their country. There are wonderful individual Muslims. Nobody denies that. But Islamic culture does not resemble Western culture in the celebration of the individual, the celebration of freedom. What's on the Liberty Bell? Is there a verse from the Quran? No, there's a verse from the Torah. And that's why it's very important that we say Judeo-Christian values. Don't drop the Judeo. That's completely dishonest. We don't have a Judeo-Christian theology. Obviously, they're different. They believe different things, but there are Judeo-Christian values.
Well, millions of Christians and Jews know that we're in this together. Dennis, thank you so much. Love talking to you again, and we'll keep, God willing, we'll keep doing this. See you next week.
That's a deal.
I love you.
Don't say it. Feed him. Here, eat more.
What?
I can feel myself changing. I barely recognize myself. I've become my auntie. I like it. Have you eaten yet?
Oh, it's a mangler. Oh my god, the number of mini bosses in this is already incredibly high.
No, you're playing on easy mode. Doesn't count.
I'm playing on easy. What about this looks easy, bro? What do you mean I'm playing on easy? Does this look easy to you? Wait, am I playing on an easy mode though? The Waffle House has found its new host. Oh my god, wait. Since when could the zombie spawn above me like that? I'm playing on easy mode? Okay, found some cash. All right. Fetch me their souls. That's fine.